Okay, we'll start with the part 2 of our map class. And those who are watching here and those who are watching online as well, if anyone have missed the first class, you can ask from the reception and get it from them. And I'm not sure whether it's going to go public or not, but even if it's not going public, you can ask from the reception and get it. And one more thing, the PDF as well. The PDF, including the first class and the second class together, the complete PDF, you can buy it from the reception. It's just like 100 rupees, that's all. The complete PDF, first and second class together. Okay. And one more thing, I said I'll be trying to get some slides for this general part, how to remember the entire European countries, how to remember the entire African countries. I don't think so we can do it today because the current affair topics alone goes too much. But that is the place where we have to concentrate more on. So that class which gives the idea to draw the entire European map or to draw the entire African map, all these things, we'll try to make a class and put it in the YouTube. Okay, in our general videos, you can watch it there. Now we'll try to finish as much as possible the current affair based maps, and even and if we are not able to finish by 7:30, I'm ready to go beyond 7:30 also, but by 7 o'clock I saw people almost fainting and falling here. Okay, so I don't think you'll stay after 7:30. If you are not able to stay after 7:30, and the rest of the things you can just see it in the PDF. So that is why I have arranged in such a way that the slides at the beginning you'll have a lot of maps to view, and the later slides, as we are closing, the slides will be in such a way that they have a lot of textual information on it. Like because for prelims we need just the textual information, map textual information. You don't these maps we keep here so that you view and it gets stuck in your visual memory, that's all. But what we need is the textual data. So that type of data I've given it in the closing slides, so that even if you don't finish in the class, the PDF will help you. Okay. So we finished last class with this RLC. I said we'll be starting with the RLC, right? So try to take some important information regarding this. And you can see the map here. It's like it's almost like a transboundary sort of lake. It's actually a lake and as well as a sea sort of thing. Okay, because it's completely surrounded by land, it doesn't reach any ocean, and that is why it is called as an endorheic lake. And this is how questions, map questions mostly come in UPSC, right? So they give a list of statements. So it is an endorheic lake, all such things. So what is endorheic? It doesn't reach any ocean. It is surrounded by land, and it has borders on two sides. On the north, Kazakhstan, and to the south, you have Uzbekistan. And this RLC is in news, so you have to know the borders. And one more extra information is, it is the 4th largest lake in the world. Okay. And general information is, these are like crucial, that is map related to current affairs. But apart from that, you also have to try and remember like the more important, just the important lakes of India, important rivers of India, all those things. General information you have to try and know. Beyond this is for 90% of map questions. Maybe sometimes we don't know UPSC, they could ask something which is not at all in the current affair also, because they would expect that you should know the lakes in India, you should know the important rivers and their tributaries in India. That sort of questions can also come. You try to learn that as well. And if possible, as much as possible, we'll try to release videos in YouTube to give the general, like a particular river and their tributaries, any shortcuts to remember those tributaries, those information we'll try to give it in the YouTube. But here I'll entirely cover the current affair based map, right? So, and this one, if the question has to be a little bit more difficult, they might go for this one, that is okay. So what is the drainage basin? See, the countries through which it passes, it was just the two countries. We saw Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, that's all. But the drainage basin, that is the what. So what is a drainage basin? Not just that lake or river or whatever tributaries or whatever rivers which contribute to it. So whatever water bodies connected to that, if it is going to supply water to the countries, those countries will be called as basin. So the basin countries of RLC, which include a group of countries. So try to note them down. Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, and it's not at all difficult because all the Eastern countries leaving Pakistan. So you don't have to learn everything, just leave one thing. So RLC is for all the Eastern countries leaving Pakistan. That's all. Whatever comes, you just say yes. That's it. So you don't have to learn. One thing what you have to learn here is what are the rivers that contribute water to this RLC? They are Amudarya and Sirdarya. These are the two things you have to, new information that you have to learn. This you don't have to learn. Just leave Pakistan and you get the answer. That's all. Okay. And after this class also, just after getting the PDF, don't just throw it away. Each and every map, just have a look at, slowly take time to look at the map so that it gets in your head, okay, through your eyes. So these maps, I would taken the maps in such a way as much as possible. It is 100% relevant to the topic. So use your time to view the maps. Okay, so this short time you cannot view the maps, use the PDF. And the next one is Caspian Sea. So it is a news because the seals in the Caspian Sea are being hunted, and also due to pollution, they are going extinct slow by slow. And that is why this is in news. And one more thing about the Caspian Sea is it is the link between Europe and Asia. Okay. In the next map, you can see where how it connects Europe and Asia. So if it's going to connect Europe and Asia, where would it be? So you don't have to know where is Caspian Sea at all. Just by guess, if something is going to connect Europe and Asia, probably where would it be? Somewhere near Turkey. That's all. Because Turkey connects Europe and Asia, we know that. And that if there is an ocean, I'm sorry, a lake or sea or whatever, it is going to connect both continents. Definitely, it's going to be somewhere nearby Turkey. This you can have as a just single idea. And specific information is it's the world's largest inland water body. Okay, the largest inland water body. And I hope you know Caspian Sea has been in news for the past 3 years, and even it's always in news. Because why it's in news? It is since it is called as the world's largest inland water body, but now only 1/10 of this water body is existing. Okay, only 1/10 is existing now. எப்படின்னு சொன்னீங்கன்னா, இந்த ஒரு படத்துல ஒரு காமெடி வரும் தெரியுமா, திருப்பதி லட்டுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பார்த்தா இவ்வளவு பெருசா இருக்கும். என்னாச்சுன்னா பங்குனி வெயில சுருங்கிருச்சுன்னு. ஸோ அது மாதிரி இது என்னாச்சுன்னா பங்குனி வெயில சுருங்கி 1/10 தான் இருக்குது. ஆனா சுருங்கினதுக்கு காரணம் வெயில் கிடையாது, நம்ம ஆளுங்க பண்ண வேலை. பிகாஸ் this Caspian Sea, the North Riparian state will be Russia and the South Riparian state will be Iran. Okay, so most of the source for this Caspian Sea is through the rivers in Russia, and we know when Russia was developing as USSR, they diverted most of these rivers. You can see it this in the next slide. See, you can see that here it is coming from Russia. Most of the source is from the rivers in Russia. So they started to divert the rivers for irrigation purpose, and this Caspian Sea lost its source. So that is why it became 1/10 now. So there are different committees and all for this. Okay, you should learn this from environment class. We don't have to go deep here, but there are various committees to stop this Caspian Sea from going extinct. But it's becoming saltier, it's becoming smaller and smaller. It could go extinct. அந்த அளவுக்கு மோசமான நிலைமை போயிட்டு இருக்கு. Okay, and what you have to try and know is this basin countries. So you can see this map. Okay, so it is, if it is going to be to the boundary of two continents, somewhere near Turkey, only thing you have to learn is it does not border Turkey. So two important borders are Russia to the north, Iran to the south, because Iran is what is fighting with Russia, saying that because of you we are losing our water resource, because Caspian Sea is an important water resource for Iran. Because of what Russia does, Iran is suffering. That is why Iran fights. So since we know the story, we know Iran, this Caspian Sea is bordered by Russia as well as Iran. Then you have to think about Kazakhstan. So north, south, here you have Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. Okay, and this Uzbekistan, it's not a border. Why? Uzbekistan உள்ளார போயிருச்சு, அதனால அது வெளியே இல்லை. அதனால அப்படிதான் நான் வச்சிருக்கேன். ஓகே, உஸ்பெகிஸ்தான் எங்க போயிருச்சு? உள்ள போயிருச்சு. அதனால இட் டசன்ட் பார்டர். இது உஸ்பெகிஸ்தான் இன்னும் 2-3 இந்த மாதிரி குரூப்பிங்ஸ்ல வரும். எதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா அது பார்டர் ஆயிருக்காது. ஸோ அது எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஒரே குழு வச்சிருப்போம், உஸ்பெகிஸ்தான் உள்ள போயிருச்சுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஓகே, ஸோ அண்ட் அப்பார்ட் ஃப்ரம் தட் யூ ஜஸ்ட் ஹேவ் Azerbaijan here. Okay, so to remember Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, it's not a huge issue for you here, because just now we saw the about the RLC as well. Okay, so here this Istan countries, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan doesn't come, Only thing what you have to remember is Azerbaijan. Try to remember. Okay. Okay. Now the bordering countries. You have a small clue for this bordering countries. Look here. What are the bordering countries? You can see Iran, Turkmenistan, important Iran. You don't remember any other country, just remember Iran. Iran in the earlier days was called as Persia, the Persian kingdom. Okay, so modern Indian history, we learn a word called Tariq or Tariq. What does it mean? It means history. In modern history, we learned a word called Tariq, and that word means history. And that word is a Persian word. In Persia, in Persian, the word Tariq Baburi, அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய நம்ம வேர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் படிச்சிருப்போம், புக்ஸ் பத்தி எல்லாம் படிச்சிருப்போம். அதுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு மேட்ச் ஆஃப் ஃபாலோயிங் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எல்லாம் கூட கேட்டிருப்பாங்க யூபிஎஸ்சில எல்லாம். ஓகே, ஸோ Tariq means history. And what language it is? Persia. So this Caspian Sea is all about Iran, about Persia. The clue is Tariq, T-A-R-I-K, Tariq. If you know this Tariq, you know the border countries. Okay, border countries of Caspian, it's really important, but it's just easy to remember because within that Tariq also you already know Russia and Iran. For of course you know these two countries. The other things what you have to remember is Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan. Only place where you can slip is instead of Turkmenistan you can put it as Turkey. But remember, Caspian Sea has nothing to do with Turkey because it is towards Iran, much eastern side towards Iran. Iran is the key here. Iran is called Persia. Persian, it is called as Tariq. The word Tariq is our clue here. Okay. So the next one is Nord Stream 2. Like I hope almost everyone in India will know this now, because Nord Stream 2, this is the pipeline which carries natural gas from Russia to Germany. It's not just Germany. The end point is Germany, but it is for whole of Europe, of course. Okay, so we know that US was actually at that time when this Nord Stream 2 was being developed, they were opposing this because they said European countries, particularly Germany, might become dependent on Russia for energy, and at later times this could become like Russia could blackmail Germany with something. And during even this Ukraine crisis, this was the talk. Germany would not it will not allow NATO to go against Russia because they lose this natural gas. Now losing natural gas is not so easy for them because during winter times they are all each and every citizen's home is heated by this natural gas, so they'll shiver in winter, they'll die. So it is like life or death problem for them, so they need this. So what you have to know is two important things from Russia to Germany, and the place is here because we know UPSC it doesn't ask too tough questions as we think. Okay, that as we fear, or they ask questions, interior questions are asked when the current affair is too famous. When somewhere the current affair peeps up, they'll ask very like just from the headlines. Newspaper headlines they don't go in deeper. Here we know this is like almost everyone knows this news, so they'll go a little bit deeper. So this is how we try to guess. So it is from this place. They could sometimes ask where is Ust-Luga, chance. So Ust-Luga in Russia and Greifswald in Germany, and this two information, they are just 10% important. Maybe the most important information is this: it passes through the Baltic Sea. This is what is important here. So it passes through the Baltic Sea. Try to know that. And one more thing, in our 1 minute current affair videos, I have given a clear information about this Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. Maybe you can view that to get more information on this. Okay, it's just a 1 minute video, that's it. Next one, since Baltic Sea is so important, we have to know everything about Baltic Sea. This is how UPSC asks questions. So the countries of Baltic Sea. So if you search the internet, there is even a mnemonic for this, but I don't use mnemonic because it makes my job little more difficult. I have to already learn what is Baltic Sea, then I have to learn a mnemonic and I have to remember that as well. It becomes more difficult because see here, to remember the Baltic Sea, it's actually easy because we already know Baltic countries. We mostly know Baltic countries are those three countries: Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. Now use the story, use the knowledge what you already know to remember these. See, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, in almost every YouTube channel, everywhere they're talking about these countries because it was part of Russia during the USSR times. Then later it came out. Then it joined NATO. So definitely we know that it is a boundary of Russia. Only those boundary countries came out during this USSR break. So it is a boundary of Russia. So if these three places are there, these are the three places during the World War time Germany wanted to take as well. Why they wanted to take it? Because their target was Poland to the west, France to the east. Hitler's idea was the two countries. He wanted to take the Poland, which is at the west, and he wanted to take the France, which is to the east. So definitely, if Hitler wanted these three countries, they should be with Poland, just by knowledge. So see here, Germany pakkathile Poland irukum. So you have all these countries now. You have Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. These are the key because Baltic Sea is bordered by Baltic countries. We know the Baltic countries. If you know the Baltic countries, you will definitely know Poland is also touching it. So this is how we try to know it. If you know Poland, you will know Germany is also touching it. Okay. And one more thing. When we spoke about these three countries were sympathetic towards Ukraine in this present issue going on. And one more country also was sympathetic towards Ukraine, who gave even arms for them. See here, Finland. They supplied guns, right? So if you know these, if you remember these three countries, you will definitely remember Finland also. So Finland is also the border. No doubt, Russia will be the border, of course. Russia is the key here. So Russia is definitely there in this issue. So if you have to remember the Baltic Sea countries, remember the current issue between Russia and Ukraine. You can think and you can answer it. That's all. You don't have to memorize it. Okay. Then one more country you have, Sweden. That's it. So the rest of the countries, you know it on your own. You don't have to know. You don't have to learn. Only country you have to know is Sweden. And those who know little bit of this world map will always know. To the left of this Baltic countries, we have these three countries: Sweden, Norway, Finland countries. So if Finland is there, definitely Sweden also will be there. So Sweden is there, is not a difficulty. Norway is not there is the difficulty. You might get confused whether Norway is also there. So you put all the Baltic countries and the surrounding countries except Norway, you get the answer. So it's not difficult to remember. You don't have to memorize everything. Simply you can have this in your eye. That's all. That is enough. And only one country is extra where you could get confused, which is Denmark. Because Denmark, you know, it is to the north of Germany. Denmark is to the north of Germany. So what we will probably think is, no, it's not going to come to Baltic Sea. But you can see here, there's a small island here. So the key here is, one is Germany, you have to remember. Only one country you have to remember. And Norway, it's not there. That's all. Norway is not there. No Norway. Okay, that's all. Rest it is, you don't have to memorize. It's easy to know. Next one, Bas and Char. Bas and Char. So once you see this word Char, right, you just get into your mind, Char, something it should be related to India, Hindi, something. The word seems to be Char, but Char Bagh அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம ஒரு 4 கார்டன் இருக்கும்னு சொல்லி எல்லாம் படிச்சு பார்த்துருக்கோம். So whatever it's something related to India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, in the area. So you narrow down your view first. If they are going to give a list of 4 countries where it is present, you narrow down your view. It is somewhere related to India. Then you have to remember the rest of the rest of the things. So some important map information is, it is also called as Charpia. Basan Char is also called as Charpia. It is a floating island. And if they are going to ask statement questions, this could be there. It is the largest tropical wetland area and the world's largest flooded grasslands. 2 important informations here. Largest flooded grasslands and largest tropical wetland area as well. And typical UPSC question, which river it belongs to? River Meghna. It belongs to river Meghna. So you would have learnt about river Meghna in geography, where when Ganga gets into Bangladesh in the name of Padma, there you can see Meghna getting in. Okay, ஆனா நமக்கு தெரிஞ்ச மேக்னா எங்க இருக்கு? ட்ரெயின்ல. நமக்கு அந்த ஒரு மேக்னா தெரியும். அந்த மேக்னா வச்சு எப்படியாவது இந்த மேக்னாவை கனெக்ட் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே, வேற வழி இல்ல. And these are the most important information about this. So you have to know it's a floating island. And one more thing, the river is Meghna. And two typical current affair information sort of, or geographical information. It's the world's largest tropical wetland, not world's largest wetland, world's largest tropical wetland, and world's largest wetland grassland also. So try to remember these information and see, it can be seen here, the mouth of river Ganga. Okay. Okay. So already we know it is already called, it is called as Charpia. Another name is Tengar Char. So three names are there. They could simply leave this Basan Char name, which is because they'll think we'll know this. So they can change the name and ask it as Tengar Char sometimes. So try to know these three names. மொத்தத்துல Char அப்படின்ற வார்த்தையை பார்த்தா run to Bangladesh. That's all. Okay. And one more thing, it is near to an island called as Sandvip Island, because somewhere this island could come. So just know it is nearby to this Sandvip Island as well. So these are second rated information, because very rarely UPSC could go to such questions, but in the first slide most important information are there. So I have tried to sort it in that way. At the beginning you'll have the most important information, because at last minute if you are revising, I know how our brain works at the last minute revision. We'll try to skip as much as possible. So we'll see the topmost information and we'll try to go to the next topic. Even in that case you should be able to comfortably know the important information, but it doesn't mean you leave the second slide, but first one is more important. That's it. Next one is Punt-NL. And this one, mark it as like a little bit important or difficult or something, because this name Punt-NL, it seems, when I saw this name, it seems to be like an Indian name. India சம்பந்தப்பட்டதுன்ற மாதிரி பேரை பார்த்தா அப்படி தெரியும், but it's somewhere completely different. It is South American continent. Okay, so it has three countries: Bolivia, Brazil, and Paraguay. Bolivia, Brazil, and Paraguay. Okay, and it is an important wetland region. It's an important wetland region, and it was in news because too many climate change effects there, and too many wildfires also because of the climate change. So it is being hit in the news. And important information what you have to know is the three countries which it passes through, or where it is spread through: Bolivia, Brazil, and Paraguay. Okay. And one more thing what you have to know is this information. This is the only information you have to know. Punt-NL Matagrossens National Park. So this will be the most important information among all the information that we saw. So anything is there in the current affair. If there's any national park, UPSC is known to ask this, because last year we saw they asked such a question somewhere from Africa. Do you remember? One national park in Africa they asked last year or 2020, I think so. Okay, so they are known to ask such information, like if there is something in news, particularly like in the world news. So they'll ask what is the national park there, environmental news. So know that national park alone. Punt-NL Matagrossens. எவ்வளவு கஷ்டமான பேரு. Okay, next one. Okay, Fordo fuel enrichment power plant. This is an issue because we know that earlier there was a deal between this Iran and USA with other European countries together to the JCPOA in kuda sollirpom. Okay, to cut down the nuclear enrichment process, because Iran was trying to enrich uranium, because normal uranium, it doesn't do anything. When you enrich it, it can be used for nuclear power plants. If you enrich more, it can be used as a bomb. So they were trying to enrich it more, so they made a deal. And but when USA got out of the deal, Iran said, okay, நம்ம நல்லதா போச்சுப்பா, now I'll start enriching uranium. So this was in news, and this particular Fordo fuel enrichment plant is also in news. Okay, and since this is in news, mostly we can expect like what are the countries bordering Iran. One of the easiest things, because Iran abdin sonale, we know that Charbagh port. So why do we have that port there? To reach Afghanistan. So at any time to reach this north-south corridor through which we can reach European countries. So that could be blocked by Pakistan, because now we transport goods to the north-south corridor region through Pakistan. If there is a war or anything, they could block it. So we'll be like isolated, and we can economically get diluted because of that. So to solve that, we have something called a Charbagha report. So if we know this story, we know that definitely we do this to reach Afghanistan. So definitely it means that Iran is in border with Afghanistan. And moreover, we already know Iran, if it is there, it is like a twin. If Iran is there, definitely Iraq is there. So no doubt about it. So knowing this, we can, to some extent, we can get the borders, and the list of the border countries, I have given it there. Okay. And one more thing, as I, in that earlier Caspian Sea itself, I told you, Iran, Persia. Persia means Turkish people. So definitely, if Iran is there, Turkey will be the border, no doubt. Okay, always Iran and Turkey are borders. So why we know this? Because again, they are like historical twins. So if Iran is there, Iraq is there. If Iran is there, definitely Turkey is also there. This is the name. That is the what to say, kingdom, Persian kingdom. Persia is Iran, Persian kingdom is Turkey. That is how historically we read history, right? So definitely Turkey will be there. Then one more thing, Azerbaijan and Armenia, again, they both are news. They both are the borders of Iran as well. So try to know the borders as much as possible. And this is the second one, second uranium enrichment facility in Iran. And already there's one more, which is called as Natanz. Okay, so whenever you talk about Iran, immediately convert that Iran into Persia. When you know Persia, you'll know a list of things. Okay. And the second layer of information, sometimes they could go towards physical information. That is, if there are any mountains. So such a question was already asked in prelims. Other particularly Iran, there was given a mountain, and they asked whether which is to the left and which is to the right, and try to know the list of the mountains here. The list I've given it here, and also the map I've given. Later on, also try to see the position of this map. Okay. If I dump all the information, it will be too much for you. So I just gave the map, and I gave the details as well. So the mountains are Elbrus, Zagros, and Damavand. So these are the three mountains, important mountains in Iran. And the rivers are Karun, Urmia, and Zayande. So these are the three rivers in Iran. Try to know them. So nowadays we can see UPSC asking such questions, giving like six data and asking which of these are the following are the rivers in this country. So it's better to know. Okay. Or easy slide. Already Gibraltar, Strait of Gibraltar. So it is between Europe and Africa. It splits Europe and Africa. So you have Spain to the north, and to the south you have Morocco. Spain to the north, and this will be Morocco actually. So you have Morocco to the south. And Gibraltar belongs to Spain. Okay, this place called Gibraltar belongs to Spain. Apart from that, the Strait of Gibraltar, it splits north Europe, and to the south it's Africa. And then the two other things are, it splits Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. Try to know this. Why this is so important? Because half of world's ocean trade, seaborne trade, is through this Gibraltar. Okay, this could be a statement question sometimes. Half of the world's sea trade is through this Strait of Gibraltar, and that is why it is too significant. And nearby to the Strait of Gibraltar, what you have is this Alboran Sea. Because Mediterranean Sea, we will all know. So sometimes they could go a little bit deeper, like once they ask Sargosa scene கேட்டு வச்சிருவாங்க. So sometimes they ask a little bit deeper question. So the sea very much to the right of Strait of Gibraltar is Alboran Sea. Next one, Nazca lines. So this word Nazca we would have learnt where? In the geomorphology plates. Tectonic plates la minor plates la படிச்சிருந்தோம். So where is Nazca plate அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு, where is Nazca plate actually? Yeah, into the East Pacific, Pacific plate க்கு east னு சொல்லலாம், or you can say it is nearby to the western part of South American continent. இந்த மாதிரி region Nazca plate, and nearby you'll have another minor plate. Anyone? Caucasus plate. Nazca plate, Caucasus plate. Then the major plates there are North American plate and Pacific plate. So try to have this picture. Last class I hope we saw this when we spoke about this Caribbean region. We saw all these plates. Okay, and why this Nazca lines is in news? Because a giant cat has been discovered here, and so it is in news. And probable question could be most probably when it became a heritage site in 1994. Okay, so how to remember this? How when it became, because Nazca lines is nearby this West Africa region. So what is very famous in West Africa? The like some physical feature is very famous here, like highest, tallest, driest, coldest, and the mari the est no ninga irukku. Yeah, Atacama desert, driest desert in the world. So something regarding to environment, 1994, which we all of us mostly know. What is it? UNCCD, okay, to combat United Nations Convention to combat desertification. Desertification resolution was in 1994, and similarly nearby this desert, or this desert itself is at the Nazca plate. So this was made heritage site in the same year 1994. It's like a coincidence, we can use it maybe. Okay, so they tried UNCCD, they tried to stop desertification of land. Okay, you can use this as a clue maybe. And then this Nazca lines, it is nearby to this Andes Mountains, and moreover Andes Mountains is also in news for this year. We'll try to know something about this Andes Mountain as well. And the direction of Andes is north southeast wise. We'll be going like this, north southeast wise, and just we'll know the border countries of Andes. So to the north you have Ecuador, east Brazil. Mostly everyone will know about Brazil. Why Brazil has this forest, Amazon forest? Because of this Andes mountain. The wind will come from the Atlantic Ocean, the wind will come, Andes mountain will block it. That is why there's huge rainfall in Brazil. So Brazil definitely everyone knows. So the next two countries are Bolivia, and to the west you have, west of course Pacific Ocean, everyone knows. The other Ecuador, Brazil and Bolivia. This you have to know. That's it. And one specific information is Lake Titicaca. So who remembers Lake Titicaca? Something a political information is there about Lake Titicaca. There was a contention between Bolivia and Peru, a border problem. Okay, actually if you see the map of Africa, if you have an atlas, maybe you can see it now or later. If you see the border, I mean, if you see the political map, you can see Bolivia will be to the right of Peru, and they had a small strip of land which was touching the Atlantic Ocean, and there was a huge contention. A case was going on in the international court, and at last the verdict was that Bolivia does not have this maritime border. They cannot, their border does not touch Atlantic Ocean, so it became a landlocked country. So from the list, when you read about the landlocked countries list, Bolivia in South America is a landlocked country. So what they did, so they already had a navy. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணலாம், ship எல்லாம் கொண்டுட்டு போய் விற்க வேண்டி வரும். They did not like that. So what they did, they made the navy in a lake, and that lake is this Lake Titicaca. So this is the highest navy in the world as well. So Bolivia has this navy in this Lake Titicaca. Okay? And this Lake Titicaca, it is shared between both Bolivia and Peru. Okay, so if you know this story between Bolivia and Peru, political story, you can easily remember Bolivia. This lake is shared by Bolivia and Peru, and this Titicaca Lake is the highest navigable lake, highest lake with a navy, all these things, and the navy belongs to Bolivia. All this, and Bolivia is a landlocked country. All this information comes from this one news. Okay. And this is the highest navigable lake. This also try to note. Okay. Next one, lithium triangle. Again, ஒரு ஃபேமஸான ஒரு question. One thing what we almost already know. So there are other triangles also. One is lithium triangle, something else. Golden triangle is there. Then anything else? Northern triangle is there. So some triangles are there. We'll try to see some things. Yeah. That is also there. But in UP, as far as UPSC is considered, these three: golden triangle, lithium triangle, then golden crescent, northern triangle. All these things we should try to know. Okay. So this is in news simply because growing demand for lithium, and we are trying to find all sorts of alternatives for lithium, but we are struggling with it. So the countries are Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile, and it's along the Atacama Desert as well. Okay. So lithium triangle, it is simply, if I have my phone, if I remove the lithium battery, it becomes useless. I might have app, I might have a huge great processor, it might have the best camera. அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. இது வெறும் சின்ன ரொம்ப விலை கம்மி ஃபோனு. ஆனால் வந்துட்டு சும்மா just for sake. Okay, though I have all that, the basics of the phone or any electronic equipment today is this lithium battery. Okay, lithium. So it is the ABC of any electronic product. So this is the clue for this. So you have Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile. Okay, without this ABC, you cannot have any alphabets or anything. So this is the basics. And one more thing, so far the one thing that was in energy, as far as energy was considered, what was ruling the world? Energy, na? Petrol. So it was found in the Saudi Arabian desert, and this is found in the Atacama Desert. So deserts are ruling the world. அப்படி கூட ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். So energy is always got from desert. So far the central point was Saudi Arabian desert. Now the central point is shifting towards Atacama Desert. இப்படியும் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். So you have to remember Atacama and these three ABC countries. That's it. Okay. And one information which they go deeper little more is this this lithium triangle is known for salt flats, and one important salt flat is this Uyuni salt flat. So this might be asked. So you can see here, this Uyuni salt flat is here, right? So try to know this. So actually it is at the intersection of these three countries. This lithium triangle is it's at the intersection of these ABC countries. Okay. And now the next level of information, as far as lithium is considered, highest is with Chile, then Australia, then Argentina. And we know Australia lives with minerals, no proper agriculture. Almost 1/3 of the country, 3/4 of the country is a desert there. They have nothing, but yet they are rich. How they are rich? They have all sorts of minerals. They have copper, they have uranium, they have aluminium, and now they have lithium, which is most wanted, and they have the second largest lithium reserves in the world. That is how they survive actually. And lithium is called as white gold. Okay. So again the same thing, petrol was called as liquid gold. Now you have this white gold. So always we are rushing towards gold. We'll see whether we are able to manufacture something like what we are trying to find as alternatives for this lithium gold. India, what are they trying to? In India, they said there's no lithium reserves, but now they have found one place where lithium reserves are there. In our slides, we'll see that it is in Karnataka, of course, the only place where we have lithium. And what are the alternatives we are trying? Anyone? Any idea? Sorry, yeah. No. So we are not able to manufacture cell phones or laptops in our country. One reason is semiconductors. We are going for the semiconductor mission, all these things. The next one, we need battery. We don't have battery at all. Most of the countries, they are importing battery from China. They have a lot of lithium, and from these countries, what I told you now. So lithium we have to import. So India is trying to manufacture batteries other than using lithium. Anything else? Yeah. One is aluminum air battery, because aluminum is found abundantly in India. So they are trying for aluminum air battery. Another, this is in India. At the world level, they are trying to use cobalt. At the international level, they are trying to use cobalt. India, we are trying to use aluminum to manufacture aluminum air batteries. And apart from this, there was another battery which was manufactured. Those group of students or the team even got first prize in the hackathon in India. That is using aloe vera to manufacture batteries. Okay, aloe vera batteries. So these all things, maybe it could come in prelims, or very well you can use them in mains. Okay, somewhere you can put this information. So try to know these are the we are trying to use these alternatives. Okay, and the most efficient battery, which is considered to be the most efficient battery of all. Yeah, no, hydrogen is not battery, it is fuel, hydrogen fuel. They are trying to use diamond core battery. Have you heard anywhere? Again, that is another battery. If the claim is that once that battery is manufactured, does anyone know how long it's going to? Now our battery stays for 1 day, then we have to recharge it, right? What about this diamond batteries? How long they are going to stay? Huh? They say it is going to stay for, I am not 100% strong with the number, they're telling somewhere around 14,000 years or something, one battery it's going to stay for. Okay, I'm not very sure 14,000 or 4,000, but it's in 1,000 years. Okay, that battery is going to stay for such a long time. And the diamond is not like real diamond, they are synthetic diamond. They are manufacturing diamond using carbon. Okay, and that if it's going to be a success, it you buy one battery and it will stay for thousands of years. Okay? We'll see what happens. And next one in India, we have have this in Karnataka's Mandya district. And this is the only place, or the first place, where now we have found lithium deposits. We don't know whether we might find it later on anywhere else. And aluminum air battery, it is not rechargeable. It belongs to that first class. So what is not rechargeable? It can be recharged, but to recharge you have to replace the liquid in it. So now how you recharge your car batteries and bike batteries? You don't recharge it in your home. So once the battery becomes weak, you go and give it to the shop, and they ask you to come the next day. They charge it there, right? So similarly, in that manner, aluminum air batteries can be charged, but they are much more efficient than a lithium ion battery. It stays for a very long time. Once you buy an aluminum battery and use it for your car, it keeps running for a few months. And once you find it's gone low, you go and give it and buy a new aluminum battery, and they will recharge it. That is how it's something like this battery swap technology will be used if aluminum air batteries are almost in the success stage. We have to wait and see. And next one, golden triangle. So what is golden triangle famous for? For illegal production of opium. You can see here all these and this picture is so relevant. The farm is also there, someone is smoking also, both can be seen here. And you can see the countries, the 3 countries. Okay, so how to remember this? So what is ATM? Anytime money, you can take money from any time. So if at all someone is going to get into this, so it is loss of time and money. Okay, so you lose your time, you lose your money. If both is lost, whole life is lost. That's all. So it's not just for opium. This is for a clue for opium. Anything intoxicating you get into, you will face this LTM, because you are not in your senses. You don't know what to do. You don't know what is right or wrong. So definitely you are going to lose your time, and you're not going to lose your money both, and at last you're going to lose your life and the people around you also. So but remember this LTM, and whenever you remember this, remember the other information also. So LTM is what stands for Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar. Okay, so this is very important for India because it is very much closer to India. On the other hand, you have this crescent. So we have both this opium hubs, and in between we have India. So it is very difficult to control drug trafficking. And we know, I hope you know, most of the crimes, okay, any sort of crime happening in India, at the base it will be the drugs at last. Okay, people on senses, they don't get into crucial crime. Very rarely that happens, very rarely. But 99% of people getting into heinous crimes, they are under the influence of some drugs. So that is why drug is considered to be much more difficult to control than any other crime. Okay, so that is why this becomes too important. And important information here is This region is at the confluence of two rivers, river Mekong and river Ruak. Is at the confluence of these two rivers. So one, there are only two information needed here. What are the countries and what are the rivers? That's it. Okay. So the next one, among this, the next important information is Myanmar is the largest country among these three. So among these three, it's the largest, but Thailand has the largest coastline. So this maybe you could use it somewhere. And another information, we have landlocked countries in South America, we have landlocked countries in Africa as well. In Asia, the only landlocked country is Laos. So try to know this. The only landlocked country in Asia is Laos. Okay. What happened? Yeah, Southeast Asia, sorry. Yeah, because in Asia you have that Eastern countries inside. I'm sorry, yeah, Southeast Asia. And I told you, right, there are certain clues to draw the entire Asia now. Since I don't find time now, I'm not going for the entire one. But since I see this here I will tell you certain clues for this. Okay. See here, when we draw, we know until India we know. Then to the right of India, two countries are there. One is Bangladesh, another one is Myanmar. Myanmar, because we know for so sure that it was called as Burma, it was a transboundary nation. People, Indian, even Tamil Nadu people have been staying there. All those things we know. And one more thing that you have to know is Thailand is famous for elephant. And we have seen Tony Jaa fighting for elephants always. Okay, so Thailand is famous for elephant, and elephant has a tail. You can see Thailand has a tail. Okay, because this tail will connect with the rest of the countries. And apart from that, Burma is famous for தேக்கு மரம். அண்ட் நம்ம வந்துட்டு அந்த தனுஷ் படத்துலலாம் பார்த்துருப்போம். ஸோ தேக்கு மரத்தை யார் தூக்கிட்டு போவா? யானை தான் தூக்கிட்டு போகும். ஸோ அந்த யானைக்கும் இந்த தேக்குக்கும் எப்பவுமே சம்மந்தம் இருக்கு. இந்த வாலும் இந்த அது ரெண்டுக்குமே வால் இருக்கும். ஸோ connect both the tails. So if you know Thailand, definitely you know Malaysia and Singapore, because those who don't know, if you watched that Ong Bak movie, Tony will go from Thailand to Malaysia and Singapore to find his small cutie elephant. Okay, so definitely Malaysia will be there. That is one thing. And always you have three countries everywhere. எங்கன்னா யூரோப்ல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா லத்வியா, லித்துவானியா, எஸ்டோனியா ஒரு 3. இந்த பக்கம் துர்க்மெனிஸ்தான், கசகிஸ்தான், அப்படி அங்கே ஒரு 3 இருக்கும். உஸ்பெகிஸ்தான் ஒரு 3. ஸோ இங்கேயும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 3 கண்ட்ரிஸ் இருக்கும். இந்த 3, அதாவது வியட்நாம், லாவோஸ், கம்போடியா. ஸோ we know there are 3. That is fine. Okay, so until Thailand we know, the rest we have to find out. We know there are 3, but where to put which? So the question is always there. Vietnam you'll always know it's at the end because of this South China issue and everything. அதையும் தெரியலன்னு சொன்னா வியட்நாம் வெளியில தான் இருக்கும். So Vietnam is outside. Okay, so வியட்நாமை வெளியே போட்டுருங்க. லாவோஸ் நம்மளுக்கு லேண்ட் லாக்ட்னு தெரியும். லாவோஸ் இஸ் லேண்ட் லாக்ட். Put it inside. It cannot touch the country. ஓகேங்களா? Now only one more you have to put it that at the last year at the end you will have Cambodia. Okay, so like this we can continue until Australia. We can just continue. We can know all the 10 Southeast Asian ASEAN countries also. Since you know this year, try to continue. You can see it's very easy to go up to Australia. It's you don't have to learn it in your life at all. You'll just know it. Okay, so next triangle is Northern Triangle. Northern Triangle, it is in Central America. Okay, see here, the term Northern Triangle is used mostly in the United States. Why they use this term is the place where mostly which is driven with, downtrodden with poverty and drugs, all these things. ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்லம் ஏரியா மாதிரி கிட்டத்தட்ட. That is called as triangle. This triangle countries, that is how it is called. But something else, El Salvador. Where do you heard this word El Salvador mostly? Yeah, அது இப்போ கரண்ட் அஃபேர் நியூஸ்ல அது வந்து நீங்க யூபிஎஸ்சி படிக்கணும். யூபிஎஸ்சி படிக்காட்டி simply El Salvador. Many places we have heard about it for that treasure, gold treasure. There's such a lot of gold, there are tons of gold there. People will be going there to for treasure hunt. Many have died because of that. இதெல்லாம் நமக்கு எங்க இருந்து தெரிஞ்சது? கேஜிஎஃப் படம் பார்த்து தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம், இல்லைன்னா அதுவும் தெரிஞ்சிருக்காது நம்மளுக்கு. ஓகே, ஸோ எல் சால்வடார், what we know is it's considered to be the golden country. It is supposed to be the world's richest country. If that gold is taken, it will be the richest country in the world, it seems. But the term used for it is the poorest people are living there. So this is the clue. When you talk about the northern triangle, just one thing you remember, it is to refer to those people who are like in the poorest form, the poorest state, and there you have El Salvador. So you can connect it very easily. The richest country, but it is having the poorest people. So just from that, you know, El Salvador. The problem here is you have to remember the rest of the two countries, Guatemala and Honduras. But there is a very small clue for this, not very efficient clue, but for me it stuck to my mind somehow. So El Salvador is known for gold. Okay, El Salvador is known for gold, and people were haunted by this gold. This word haunted is used in certain movies, because that gold will always be haunting them. They will never give up their wish to get that gold. So they will be going there, they'll fight, they'll get into war, and they will die there at last. But they will never leave that wish. That gold wish will be haunting them always. So that is why you have gold will be haunting them. So the El Salvador, gold, Guatemala will be haunting Honduras. So you'll have this 3 countries for northern triangle. Maybe you can use this to remember. Okay, next one, coral triangle. So this is not like very specific in news, just every year on 9th this coral triangle day is celebrated. So maybe because of that it could come, but since it's celebrated every year, it's not something special. What is June 5? Environment Day. So hereafter Environment Day, most of us will know June 5. So to that, hereafter add this 9 also, because corals are like they are called as the tropical evergreen forests of the ocean. And they are important for the environment. So if you remember June 5 as Environment Day, remember June 9 as another Environment Day, that is Coral Triangle Day. Okay, and where is it? So what do we know about corals? Like corals nale nalukku endha takku nyabagam varum, endha edathina varum, Great Barrier Reef. But here this coral triangle is not in the Great Barrier Reef, but it is very much nearer, that is just north of Australia. Just to the north of Australia you have this huge triangle. But all those who know Australia will definitely know, to the north we have Papua New Guinea, Timor Leste. These 2 countries everyone will almost know. South la New Zealand irukku therinja madriye, north la vandittu Timor Leste and Papua New Guinea is there, most of the peoples will know. And this Solomon Islands, because everyone who studies UPSC will know Solomon Islands, because it has been coming in the question for continuously for many years, Solomon Islands. So you can see so 3 things you don't have to learn, you already know, that is Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea and Timor Leste. Rest of the things you have to learn it from the list, that is nearby countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, that's it. Okay, and we were talking about those Asian countries, right? So நம்ம எங்க வரைக்கும் வந்தோம்? We came up to Malaysia. Malaysia is there, Singapore is part of Malaysia, it's done, gone already. So if you know Malaysia, you will definitely know Indonesia. Both are Islamic country. Indonesia has the largest number of Muslims in the entire world. So Malaysia and Islamic Indonesia are like culturally connected countries. If you know Malaysia, you will definitely know Indonesia. So Indonesia goes up to Australia, almost up to Australia. You will just have Timor Leste, that's all. So you finished the whole Asian countries, that's it. Okay, and one country, the rest of the countries is, Malaysia is known for, it's in news for a very long time. Environmentally it's in the news for a very long time, throughout like 3 or 4 years. They see, Brazil wants to develop, so what they are doing, they say we want to develop, they are destroying which forest? Amazon forest. Now Malaysia says we want to develop, and they are destroying what is the other rainforest? There are only 3 rainforests, huge rainforest. One is Amazon, another one is Congo, the third one is Borneo. Okay, so Malaysia is known for destroying Borneo forest. There's a huge documentary in YouTube, and you can go and watch it. All those tribal people in the forest dwelling people will be there, right? They'll go to those people and they'll say, see, you're living a very bad life, you don't have any facilities, we'll give you all sort of facilities, we'll make you modern. So they'll say, okay, what they will do is they'll bring them out of the forest, give them some houses and make them stay there, and they'll go off and they'll take the forest. And those people will be crying then. Now we don't know what to do. We don't have food to eat, and we don't. The only thing what we know is hunting, but now we cannot hunt. So one American journalist went there and he just disappeared. We don't know what happened there at all, because Malaysian government itself is supporting to destroy the Borneo forest. So இதெல்லாம் ஏன் இவ்வளவு கதை பேசணும் நம்ம? To know that Malaysia, where's it? Malaysia and Borneo are very close by. Part of Malaysia itself will be there. Borneo will start, and nearby here you'll have ஒரு bun மாதிரி ஒரு country இருக்கும், bun shapeலயே ஒரு country இருக்கும். Actually that is Borneo. So if you know Malaysia, you will know Borneo. Okay, and one more thing, you have China, you have Australia, both are almost like enemies. And here you will have USA, this side. On this side you have USA, and இதெல்லாம் connect பண்ற country அது. And which country supporting this like a pivot for these countries? Philippines. Philippines is an ally of USA, right? We know USA has its base, army base and all in Philippines. Why? If at all there's any problem to have a base here in Philippines to go against China. So definitely Malaysia, then there is Borneo, then definitely we know Philippines is there. We commonly know Philippines is an Asian country, even if you forget. But if you want to draw the map, or they are asking map question like which is to the left and which is to the right also, you can draw it with your hand. Use the story that I've told you today. After 7:30, go home, try to draw the entire Pacific countries, Asian countries and Pacific countries, starting from Bangladesh, go up to Australia. You can draw each and every country without seeing. It's really possible. Okay? We'll go to the next one now. So there are only 3 ecological complexes in the world. This is really important, this one. All 3 are in use. 3 ecological complexes are there. One is Amazon, another one is Congo, and the third one is this one, Coral Triangle. Okay, it is so important. And see what this Coral Triangle is engulfing. It has the Borneo forest within it. Part of Malaysia, and this is Borneo. Here you have Borneo. So what are the 3 ecological complexes? The 3 tropical forests. That's all. You don't have to learn this. The 3 ecological complexes are the 3 rainforests. The 3 rainforests are Amazon, Congo, Borneo. That's all. And why Borneo was the most affected, or the number human words la solana, the most developed forest? Why? It was destroyed the most compared to the other 2 rainforest. Borneo was the one which was destroyed the most. Why? Because it is an island. It can be easily accessible by humans. So மனுஷன் ஒரு இடத்துல காலை வச்சா என்ன பண்ணிடுவோம்? டெவலப்மெண்ட் பண்ணிடுவோம். எப்படி டெவலப் பண்ணுவோம்? மரத்தெல்லாம் வெட்டிடுவோம், அங்கே இருக்கிற ட்ரைப்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொன்றுவோம், தண்ணியெல்லாம் விஷமாக்கிடுவோம். This is called developed. So why Amazon forest escaped for a very long time is because it is very hard to access it. People cannot get in. So மனுஷன் போக முடியாத வரைக்கும் அந்த இடம் நல்லா இருக்கு. Okay, so these are the 3 complexes. And one more specific data is 76% of world's coral species are found in this Coral Triangle. So try to know this information. And one more information. So we know this has a 76% of corals, one of the complex and ecological complex, everything. And within this triangle, the richest biodiversity is at the Verde Island Passage, which is in Philippines. Verde Island Passage, which is in Philippines. One information which you have to learn new, like no clue, nothing. We have to memorize it. The richest biodiversity here is the Verde Passage, which belongs to actually Philippines. You can see to the next slide where it is. It is here to the north of Philippines. You can see this Verde Passage. And one more thing, this could be a statement question again. It is called as the world's epicenter of marine biodiversity. World's epicenter. So நம்மள்ட்ட கேட்டா என்ன பண்ணிடுவோம்? Sometimes வந்துட்டு இந்தியாவுக்கும் ஸ்ரீலங்காவுக்கும் நடுவில் இருக்க கேப்புக்கு ஆமான்னு சொல்லி போட்டு வச்சிருவோம். Because we know mostly it is too important. It is highly rich in biodiversity. We don't want to. It is not supposed to be broken. we don't know the results, what will happen. இதெல்லாம் நம்மளுக்கு பார்க் ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய ரீஜன் அவ்வளவு இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். நம்ம பேசிட்டே இருக்கனால நம்ம கொஸ்டினை பார்த்தா என்ன நினைப்போம், அப்ப அதுதான் வந்துட்டு எபிசென்டர் நினைச்சிருவோம். ஆக்சுவலி எபிசென்டர் இஸ் இந்த this CT6 or coral triangle. Okay, why it is called 6? Because 6 countries it has. It is spread across 6 countries, so that is why it is called CT6. நமக்கு இதே மாதிரி ஒரு நம்பர் தெரியுமா? என்ன தெரியும்? CT6 மாதிரி இன்னொரு நம்பர் நமக்கு என்ன தெரியும்? CR7. ஆனா இன்னைக்கு நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டது CT6. ஓகே, and see one more thing, it's between Pacific Ocean and Indian Ocean. This could be asked. நம்ம ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு க்ரூஷியல்லாம் படிச்சுட்டு வாங்க, சிம்பிளா கேட்டுருவோம் எந்த ஓஷன் அப்படின்னு. Pacific Ocean and between Pacific Ocean and definitely you will know this, of course. No one is going to miss this, but anyway. And this information we missed it, right? This passage is actually a strait, okay, and it separates Luzon Island and Mindoro Island, because already some few years back Luzon was asked in question. Okay, those who have seen the old question papers, I hope you will remember Luzon was asked. Okay, Luzon is an island and there is a Luzon Strait also. So how this was asked, they asked to arrange the straits in this region. We have the Malacca Strait, we have the Luzon Strait, like that. They asked them us to arrange it from west to east. Okay, so since you have this, you try to find the other straits in that region. So I didn't get into conventional data because we cannot finish the current affairs data. Conventionally, any one of you can take the atlas and see it. This is where I have to find the information and give you. So I confined myself with current affairs data, but you go to conventional. You try to find, there are too many straits around this region. Here you have Luzon, to the left of Luzon you will have Malacca Strait, and there is a list of states there. Note it down and go home and try to look it and try to arrange them from north to south and from west to east. Okay. See here, crucial information. The only coral reef to have been declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site is here, and that is called as Tubataha Reef, and it is in Philippines. Tubataha Reef, it's in Philippines. So the Verde Pass is also in Philippines, and this Tubataha Reef is also in Philippines. They have asked such information. Even like they have asked, like நான் கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, ஒரு நேஷனல் பார்க்க கொடுத்துட்டு which country it is. So UPSC asks such questions, and it is in the Sulu Sea. It is in the Sulu Sea. So what we will mostly think when they give a reef and they say this particular coral reef is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which sea it belongs to? Definitely, where will our mind go to? It will go to that to the eastern side of Australia. அங்க இருக்கிற கடல் ஏரியாவை தான் யோசிப்போம் நம்ம. இங்க தான் கோரல் சி இருக்கும் பாத்தீங்களாங்க. Will definitely, our eyes will first go to coral sea, and they will give coral sea as option A அப்படினு கொடுத்து வச்சிருப்பாங்க. First டிக் பண்ணிட்டு வருவோம். Okay, so remember it is the Sulu Sea. Okay, so where is Sulu Sea? Here. It is between the South China Sea and the Celebes Sea, and you can see it is belonging to Philippines. Okay, and to the north of Philippines you can see you have this Luzon Island, and to the north of this Luzon Island you will be having the Luzon Strait. Okay, okay, next one, Galapagos Island. Galapagos Island. So something special is, it is a double World Heritage Site because it is the heritage site for both land and for sea. Like we always get questions from such special information. Okay, you have to know this. And another special information, the penguins here, Galapagos penguins, they are the only penguins native to the northern hemisphere. Okay, they are native to the northern hemisphere. Why? Because we know penguins, we mostly know they belong to the southern hemisphere. Now when we talk about the poles, in the Arctic Ocean you have the polar bear, in the Antarctic Ocean, the southern ocean, you have the penguins, but in the northern hemisphere there is an penguin, and which is native to that place also. This is the only thing, that is this Galapagos penguins. So you might get it, be careful. And this news, this Galapagos Islands, it's in news because of the giant tortoise. Even before 2 days it was in news, right? Giant tortoise was in news even before 2 days. This was in news like 2 to 3 times this year itself. So know it. And this giant tortoise is found in this Galapagos Islands. Okay. And this Galapagos Island, it's very famous. Do you know why? This is the place where Charles Darwin stayed there and made all his research and found this evolution theory and all. This is the place. Okay. And you have a lizard here, marine iguana. Marine, there is an iguana, and this is the only lizard to swim in an ocean. Okay, this is the only lizard to swim in the ocean. So this place is considered to be like so rich in biodiversity. That is why this Charles Darwin chose this place. He was able to see so many animals there. Okay. Oh, you can see the size of the giant tortoise. See there? Or manisha size irukku parunga. So this group of islands, this archipelago is called as Galapagos Islands. And you have this Humboldt current passing through this region. We already know, because for Ecuador, that's why in the last map you saw Ecuador, right? You saw Ecuador. Here is where the Humboldt current is passing, and that is why Atacama Desert is the driest desert in the world as well. And this is known for fishing, because of this upwelling current there. It is known for fishing. Almost 20% of the world's fish catches here. And now you can guess why so many penguins are here. Okay, so many fishes are available, so penguins are supposed to be there, right? The next one is the Agatti Island. This was also in news. Okay. And it's in Lakshadweep. Why it's in news? Because the National Green Tribunal has given stay to cutting trees, or that is the coconut trees. Lakshadweep is known for coconut trees. The only thing that grows there, almost like. And this Agatti Island, it is as far as Lakshadweep is considered, it is the smallest union territory. This is already asked in exam. Which is the smallest union territory? It is actually Lakshadweep, and it is one place which does not have forest. One state or union territory in India which does not have forest. I think this exact question was asked in UPSC sometime, much later, long back somewhere. I've seen this question somewhere. And the state animal is butterfly fish. Every information is important here. Every single information is important here. And sometimes they could ask, we know the capital of Lakshadweep is Coveted, and Agatti, where it is present? It is to the west of Coveted, and it is the only airport in Lakshadweep. Agatti is the place which has the only airport for Lakshadweep. Okay, so this also you have to know. And the next one. So since we saw something about Lakshadweep, we'll see a little bit about this Andaman Nicobar. This was asked in news many times, many times. So once they asked a very simple question, which is the channel that connects Nicobar and Andaman Islands, the 10-degree channel. This was once asked, and later they have asked this part to chronologically arrange this part. So this Northern Andaman, Middle Andaman, Southern Andaman, then Little Andaman, then Nicobar. But this is too easy to arrange, but there are many more things also here. Try to know them as much as possible. This also try to remember. Lakshadweep Islands. So you have the Coral Island, then you have Minicoy, then the Maldives. So first is Lakshadweep, then Minicoy, then Maldives. Maldives, of course, it doesn't belong to India. Minicoy is the southernmost part of the Lakshadweep Islands. So what you need here is this one. So the 9-degree channel separates Lakshadweep and Minicoy, 8-degree channel separates Minicoy and Maldives, and there are more also. Okay, so try to for Andaman and Nicobar particularly, it keeps going. The names keep going, and they ask you to arrange from north to south. So I just left it with this. You go and learn more about this. Note it down. This is really needed. Okay. And moreover, not just the southernmost, it's the largest island as well. Minicoy is the largest island for Lakshadweep. Next one is the Addu Atoll or Sinu Atoll, and it is to the east of Maldives. It belongs to actually Maldives. Okay, and it is the southernmost atoll of Maldives. And why all this we are learning is because it is there in the news, because India and Maldives signed an memorandum of understanding to establish a tourism zone here in this Addu Atoll. Okay. And one more thing, in the entire Indian Ocean archipelago, this is the second largest city as well. Okay, so many information is there. Particularly, this is for tourism. India has signed an MOU, so there's a lot of probability for this question. Okay, Laddu Atoll or Sinu Atoll. I have a clue for this, but I won't tell it here. I'll be in trouble if I tell it here. Okay, later if anyone wants, I'll tell it separately. Okay, case la maatipen indha mala solli open class la. Okay, next one is Tulagi Island. Tulagi Island. Why it's in news? Because China takes it for lease for the next 75 years. So that so it's in news. And when a statement is asked like China takes island for lease, and they give the name of the island, they ask where it is, we'll definitely put it South China Sea or East China Sea, and it is there somewhere in the Solomon Islands. இப்போதான் சாலமன் ஐலண்ட்ஸ் பற்றி பேசணும். இதெல்லாம் ஒரு ஃபேவரட் பிளேஸ் யூபிஎஸ்சிக்கு, நம்ம மறந்துடும் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். That's all. இதில் பற்றி இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் அவ்வளோதான். It belongs to Solomon Islands. That's all. If it is in Solomon Islands, we'll know it belongs to the Western Pacific Ocean. Definitely we'll know that. Next one is New Caledonia. Last year it was in news. This year again it is in news. And it is part of a place called Zealandia. Zealandia is the region to the little bit to the northeast of New Zealand. That whole region was declared as Zealandia. Adu kuda last year dhaan panniranga actually. Okay, so why this is in news? Because this New Caledonia actually belongs to France, and New Caledonia it was declared as a separate country. Appa last year dhaan nadandhuchu. And something very ironical here is people have voted against. அதாவது அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் வாங்க பிடிக்கலையாம், அவங்க பிரான்ஸ்க்கு கீழே தான் இருப்பாங்களாம். ஓகே, திஸ் இஸ் நாட் நியூ. ஆல்ரெடி ஒன் கண்ட்ரி ஹஸ் டன் திஸ். ஹூ? Hong Kong have done this in 1997 when Britain was supposed to give it back to China when the 99 years lease was over. இவங்க என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்க, நான் உன்ட்ட காலனியாவது இருந்துக்கிறேன், இவங்கள்ட்ட மட்டும் என்னை கொண்டு போய் விட்டுறாது, தயவு செஞ்சு இவங்கள்ட்ட என்னை விட்டுறாது. கதரை என்னப்பா பண்றது, லீஸ் முடிச்சு போச்சு, அக்ரிமெண்ட் படி கொடுத்தாங்கன்னு சொல்லி எதையாவது பண்ணியா, என்னென்னமோ திருட்டு வேலை நீ பண்ணியிருக்க, இதை பண்ண மாட்டியான்னு சொல்லி கேட்கு. அப்புறம் கடைசியில் ஒரு அக்ரிமெண்ட்லாம் போட்டு யூ ஷுட் நாட் டிஸ்டர்ப் தெம், தே வில் ஹேவ் தியர் ஓன் கவர்மெண்ட் அப்படின்னா சொல்லி ஒரு 50 இயர்ஸ்க்கு ஒரு அக்ரிமெண்ட் போட்டு வச்சிருக்காங்க. And we don't know what is going to happen after 50 years. And they never want to join with China even after 50 years. அதனால அப்பப்போ நாங்களும் இருக்கோன்னு கட்டுறதுக்கு அம்பர்லா ரெவல்யூஷன் நடத்துறது, அப்பப்போ ஏதாவது சண்டை போடுறது, எதையாவது பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கிறது அப்பப்போ. Because they never want to join. Because why? Because they've been as a colony under a democratic nation. Now everyone know, they have seen through the history what happened in socialistic or communistic country, what happened to the people there, how people were treated. So they have enjoyed freedom. So now they don't want to get into a place where a lot of restriction is there. So Hong Kong had already done it. Now it is New Caledonia. They don't want to get freedom. So they think they are much developed and much happy under France. So that's why it's in news. So some like conventional information about this place, because it could be asked. So it has the highest point of this region is Mount Peaney, which is not very important, but this could be asked. That is the Daihote River is the longest river in the country? So this maybe it could be asked. And the lagoons in this region are World Heritage sites. So try to remember the river name, Diahot River. Okay. Shall we go to the next one? So you see here, this region, it's called as New Caledonia, to the northeast of Australia. And this map, see this map very carefully, or even if you don't see it here, go to the Google, get a number somewhere. Try to arrange these islands from west to east and from north to south. Both arrangements you have to know. The questions have been already asked. Since this is in news here, definitely they'll ask such questions. Try to know that exactly to the south of Solomon Islands you have this New Caledonia, and to the west, and not just these islands, some more islands are also there, but these are the most important ones. So the most known prominent ones, so they could ask questions only here. So try to arrange them from west to east and north to south. Okay. Next one, a desert, Wadi Rum Desert. Wadi Rum Desert. So it's in Israel, and it is known as the Valley of the Moon. Okay, actually it's not in Israel. It was with it. Now it's with it's in the southern part of Jordan. Not Israel, it's in Jordan. You can see it is here. And since this is in news, it's better you know all the boundaries of Israel. Okay, so to the east side of Israel you will have this West Bank, and to the north part you will have the Golan Heights, which is always and some sort of problem, because like how we have this Trusul Valley in the Indian-China border, because it is it's a higher platform, so it will be as an advantage in the case of any war. So since this is a higher region, this region is always under problem, which it belongs to who? Okay, and see it doesn't belong to Israel right now. And but apart from that, you can see on the eastern side we have the West Bank, and to the west side of Israel you have this Gaza Strip. Try to know this. Then apart from that, you have borders Jordan, Egypt, and Lebanon as well. Okay, and Syria actually, I don't remember, is Syria the border of Israel? I think it's not very sure. Syria, I think it's not the border, not border of Israel. Okay, Jordan, Egypt, everyone knows. So how we know this? Without learning, how we know this for so sure? This story we know that that 6 nations will be surrounding them and going for 1967, right? That war, it's a very famous war. Okay, 6 days war. 6 days war, it's a very famous war, and because of that we know which are the countries which are at its borders and try to get in. With that we'll know the boundaries. See, always knowing the map using the known stories is very easy. And if anyone finds time, Tamil, English, எல்லாத்துலயுமே இருக்குது the 6 days war அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, it's there in YouTube and all. Just try to listen to that story. It will be like an interesting story. செம ஜாலியா இருக்கும் அந்த ஸ்டோரி கேட்கறதுக்கு. Okay, how well they planned it. Okay, when every other country around them, even a single country around them has an army which is much bigger than them, but around 5 countries are opposing them, and that it was a ambush. They never knew it, such an attack is going to come, but even then they defeated all the countries. So how well they planned there. It will super irukum the kada. Okay, try to listen it. So next one, Natuna Island. Okay, so already you have this problem of South China Sea, where China is claiming a huge part of this region, including the Parasil Islands and also the ocean region. Okay, and here we can see in international verdict, it is given that this particular Natuna Island belongs to the ocean where it belongs to Indonesia's exclusive economic zone. EEZ ன்னு சொல்லி சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, like that it go 200 nautical miles from the border. Okay, so it actually belongs to Indonesia's exclusive zone, but China has been illegally fishing there. Okay, is fish so important for them? Actually, is it about the fish? No. To say that it is my place. Okay, சும்மா அது வந்துட்டு வம்பலுக்கு பண்ற வேலை, ஃபிஷ்ஷுக்காக இல்லை. ஸோ டு சிம்பிளி keep proving that whoever is going to tell, whether internationally or in seabed authority is going to tell, or UN clause is going to say, whoever says I don't care about it, I will say that it is my region, to prove that they go for fishing there. Okay, so this Rauna Islands, so this Natuna Islands is close by to Indonesia's Riau Islands. So if we have to read about Natuna Islands, it is better to know about Riau Islands also belong to Indonesia. And definitely we have to know about the South China Sea. Since so much we have seen, we have to know about the South China Sea. See here, the border countries of South China Sea, we almost everyone will know, because that the contention is between China, Vietnam and Philippines. Okay, mostly it is between China, Vietnam and Philippines. And apart from that South China Sea borders, you can see Malaysia. Okay, Malaysia, Indonesia. So except Malaysia, Indonesia, you don't have to learn the other things. If Malaysia is bordering, definitely Singapore will be there, and it's part of that land. Okay, if Malaysia is bordering, in that part of Malaysian land you will have Borneo. So definitely if Malaysia is in that place, Borneo has to be there, because it is part of Malaysia's land. Borneo will be split into two different lands. One part will be with the Malaysian land part, and the other one will be like an island floating on the ocean. So two part, so Borneo is automatically there. So only one country you have to know, apart from the contention here. China, Vietnam and Philippines are contending over this region, the Spratly Islands, Parasil Islands. And once they have asked question, which is to the north and which is to the south. And there was another question where Parasil Island belongs to which ocean, which sea blanket. So Parasil is to the south, Spratly is to the east, and this is little bit to the south. Parasil mala, Spratly is keela. Parasil is little bit towards the west when considered to Spratly. All this try to know. Next one, there's a conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia. And here, military operations have been done in a region called Tigray region. So that is why this region is in news. So what and all we have to know is the border countries of Ethiopia, border countries of Eritrea. This has been already asked. So why this was asked? Because at that time, China, there was geopolitical tensions were going on between India, China, Djibouti, Ethiopia. So அதனால வந்துட்டு Ethiopia பத்தி அந்த question கேட்டிருந்தாங்க. Now because of this, they might ask a question. And one more thing, you have a strait here called as Bab el Mandeb. Okay, but you don't have to learn, it's too easy to remember, because this region, what is this region called as? Horn of Africa. சொல்லிட்டேன் உங்க கிளாஸ்ல இத? No, I didn't give this clue, right? Okay, horn எங்க இருக்கும் எப்பவுமே? கொம்பு எங்க இருக்கும்? மண்டை மேல தான் இருக்கும். Okay, if you have horn, you will have Mandeb. Okay, Bab el Mandeb. Okay, so இப்படி தான் இது வந்து மறக்காம ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். So it's not very difficult for you to remember. And this Bab el Mandeb will be separating here this Africa and Asia. On the African side, it will be actually exactly, if you want, it will be Djibouti. On the other side, it will be Iran. On the water side, it will be separating Gulf of Eden and Red Sea. Okay, you can remember that, right? Because see, this Horn of Africa, when we draw this Africa, we'll definitely know Red Sea is there. So one thing what you could sometimes forget is this Gulf of Eden. Where is Gulf of Eden? Okay, but those people who have been reading geography for a long time, they will know where is Gulf of Eden. But for beginners, they sometimes they forget where is Gulf of Eden. ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதாவது நம்ம சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து படிச்ச கதைகள்ல பார்த்தோம்னு சொன்னா ரொம்ப 2 வாட்டர் பாடிஸ் பைபிள் அதிகமா வரது பாத்தீங்கன்னா, ஒன்னு ரெட் சி, அந்த மோசஸ் ஸ்டோரியில வந்துரும். இன்னொரு பெரிய கதை என்னது, ஆடம் அண்ட் ஈவ். யூ ஹேவ் ஆடம் ஹியர். Okay, one is Red Sea, another one is Adam. Both are nearby. Okay, அப்படி ஞாபகம் வச்சிட்டீங்கன்னு சொன்னா, you don't forget that Red Sea and Adam are very much nearby, and in between you have this Monday. Okay, so try to remember. And this year we have the great African lakes in news, so there's no point in me reading all these lakes. Okay, nothing is going to happen. So but we have to know the chronology of these lakes from north to south. There are these lakes because 2019 they asked about a lake in South Africa. Yes, they asked a lake about a lake in South Africa. 19 or 20, I don't remember which was it. I think it was lake which lake was it, but definitely they asked a lake in a little bit southern region. Okay, they asked a lake about Mozambique பக்கத்துல இருந்த ஒரு lake, and that lake's name also was very much similar to Mozambique, and they asked where it was. Okay, so this year again African lakes are there in news. Try to remember all these lakes chronology. Okay, and one more thing, we have Lake Victoria, which is the largest lake in Africa and third largest lake in the world. So both these you have to know. And Lake Tanganyika, where is that? Lake Tanganyika, it is the world's second largest freshwater lake. It is the world's second largest freshwater lake. These are some specific information. Okay, try to know this information. How you have to know is, if there is a particular lake, which countries does it occupy? All these things, if there are certain lakes which is between any two countries, all those things you have to try and learn as much as possible. I have tried to give it here. Okay, I've given it as text, which lake belongs to which particular country. Okay, so you can see Lake Victoria, which is also called as Lake Nyanza, and it is bordering Tanzania, Uganda, but also bordering Kenya. Okay, it is present in these two places. It little bit it touches Kenya also. You can see here it will be touching Kenya a little bit. Okay, so try to know these lakes as much as possible. And when you read once or twice, you can see that you can find some similarities in the name. It's not too difficult. Don't see this huge list and think how to remember all this. The names will be like very much similar. I told you, right, that lake will be called as the lake will be near Mozambique, and the lake's name also will be very much similar to Mozambique. African lakes, the country and the lake's name will be very much similar. If you try to find the link, you can somehow get it, and try to form some clues or whatever. But it's better to know this. It is an expected question for this year or last year. Any 22 or 23, there might be a question from African lakes. Okay. And this lake Tanganyika, right? Tanganyika, which is here. Yeah. So this you can try and remember. It will be definitely near Congo. Why? பேர்லயே தங்கம் இருக்கு. ஆப்பிரிக்காவை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் தங்கம் காங்கோல தான் இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி நம்ம படிச்சிருந்திருப்போம். ஓகே, எங்க படிச்சோம்? அயன் படத்துல அந்த டேபிள்ல உட்காந்து பேசும்போது, உனக்கு காங்கோ பத்தி தெரியுமா, கிம்பர்லி ப்ராசஸ் என்னன்னு தெரியுமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு எக்ஸ்பிளேஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க. அது நமக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ அப்ப தங்கம் எங்க இருக்கு? காங்கோல இருக்கு. அப்ப தங்க லேக் எங்க இருக்கும்? அதுவும் காங்கோல தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி there are clues for almost for everything. You can try and remember it. Okay. ஓகே, எல்லாருமே பேட்டரி டவுன் ஆகுதே, ஒரு மூஞ்சு சாயுதே. ஓகே, 6:30யா? ஒருவேளை இவங்க உண்மையாலே சாயிறாங்களா, இல்லை 6:30 ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படி கொஞ்சம் சாயிற மாதிரி அப்படி பண்ணுவோம், அப்பதான் பிரேக் விடுவாங்கன்னு சொல்லி அப்படி பண்றாங்களோ? ஓகே, கம் பேக் இன் 5 minutes. ஓகே, yeah. See, nowadays 24 is not enough, right? Temperature is increasing. போதுமா? Okay, no problem. Thinking. Okay, let's start. So next one, national park, Hemis National Park. It's in Ladakh. Okay, this one, this is the second largest contiguous protected region. Okay, after Nanda Devi biosphere. Okay, so the first contiguous park is Nanda Devi. The next one is this Hemis National Park in Ladakh. You can see where is this Hemis. It is between Ladakh and Zaskar, particularly very much near to the Zaskar range. So if any national park is asked, mostly the questions will be any mountain is there, what are the rivers passing through, any lakes there, these will be the probable questions. So here you can see it is very much near to the Zaskar range. It is a high altitude national park. And one important peak here is Stoke Kangri Peak. See, in Himalayas there will be too many peaks, high and the height vachlam kuduthirupanga, but probably we can't learn everything. So but if you examine the previous questions, you can see probably they'll be from current affairs. So the such peaks and all will be asked mostly. So it is under the Stoke Kangri Peak. And one more thing, it is at the confluence of Zaskar River and Indus River. At the center you will have, at the confluence of these two rivers, you have this Hemis National Park. And this Hemis, this name is got from Hemis Gompa, which is a Buddhist monastery here. From this Buddhist monastery, they got this name. So there are previous questions which I've asked exactly like that. Statement kuduthu ketruvaanga. Okay, 2020 and the Barasanga question was somewhat like this. They asked statements and they asked to find which national park it is, which animal it is. And what type of vegetation is there in this Hemis National Park? It is a steppy type of vegetation, completely different. ஏன்னா நம்ம என்ன நினைப்போம், Zaskar range, Himalayas, we might think it will be like taiga or tundra type of vegetation, but it is like a steppy type of vegetation here. And it falls under Palearctic ecological zone. Completely like irrelevant name. Okay, see if they ask this particular national park is present in the Palearctic ecological zone, and they give a list of national parks, and the first thing that we will eliminate is an Indian national park. இது ஆர்க்டிக்னு கொடுத்துருக்கு, இது வந்து இந்தியாவில் இருக்க வாய்ப்பு இல்லைன்னு நினைப்போம், but this region is called as Palearctic ecological zone. Unless you have learned this, there's no way to guess this. So this is, you have to learn. And this one, it falls under the region Karakoram, Western Tibetan Plateau region. Western, this Karakoram and Western Tibet both are same, the names for the same place. And this particular picture is exactly Karakoram, West Tibetan Plateau. Okay, it is seen as a steppy type of vegetation. This I already told you, this Hemis monastery is within the national park. So and one more thing what you have to know is, it is not, you might think it is nearby, no, it is inside the national park you have a monastery. Okay. So UPSC is known question. If one national park is there in the use, they'll ask national parks, other national parks which are in that state. So in Jammu Kashmir you have Dachingam, Salim Ali and Kistawa. Dachingam, most of us know, one of the most famous national park in Jammu Kashmir is Dachingam. This we know. These two we might fall, particularly this one, Kishtwar National Park. This is not a very famous one. Try it note now. Okay, and one more. This is called as the only national park to the north of the Himalayas region. Okay. And one more thing, this Hemis National Park, it is the largest national park in central India. It is the largest national park in, sorry, that is Kanha actually. Central India is Kanha. This is at the north of Himalaya region. Okay, don't write that. I'm sorry. Largest central India is Kanha, not this one. This is to the north. This is only the only one part to the north of Himalaya. That is the speciality. Okay, Kanha Reserve, like 2020 similar question. Okay, so here this is the first tiger reserve in India to have a mascot. Okay, and that mascot is Barasinga. Mascot na லைக் ஒரு நம்ம டிபின்னு சொல்கிறோம்ல அந்த மாதிரி. இப்போ ஒலிம்பிக்ஸ்லாம் நடக்கும்போது ஏதோ ஒரு மிருகத்தை வந்து மேஸ்காட் அப்படின்னு சொல்ல வைப்பாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு விஷயம் தான் மேஸ்காட், ஒரு சிம்பிள் மாதிரி கொடுக்குறது. ஸோ ஃபார் திஸ் நேஷனல் பார்க், திஸ் இஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நேஷனல் பார்க் டு இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் அ மேஸ்காட், அண்ட் தட் மேஸ்காட் இஸ் திஸ் பாராசங்கா. இட்ஸ் எ டியர், ஒரு சேரி சகதியில் ஸ்வாம்பில் வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்க ஒரு டைப் ஆஃப் டியர். ஓகே, and one more reason why it's in news is they are connecting Kanha Tiger Reserve with this Achanamkar region using a wildlife corridor. So what is a wildlife corridor? Why? Yeah, a path where animals could move from one forest to another forest, because we would be having a road or something there, so animals cannot move, and this causes something called as fragmentation of forest. To avoid that, now we are trying to build wildlife corridors, and one such wildlife corridor is built to connect two places. That is, one is Kanha Tiger Reserve to the Achanamkar region. And where it is found, direct map questions. One is, it is in the Satpura mountains, particularly in the Maikal range. This is the largest national park in Madhya Pradesh, and the tribal people here are Gonds and Baigas. So for Kanha, tribal people are Gonds and Baigas. So any famous national parks which has been in news for a very long time, UPSC will delve deeper into the questions. So which range it is, which peak it is, who are the tribes there, which river is flowing there, and ரொம்ப டீப்பா கொஸ்டின் உள்ள போக ஆரம்பிச்சிருவாங்க. ஸோ தோஸ் திங்ஸ் விச் ஆர் வெரி ரேர் ஜஸ்ட் தேர் இன் த நியூஸ், அந்த மாதிரி உள்ள தேல் ஜஸ்ட் ஸ்டிக் டு த ஹெட்லைன்ஸ். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் ஹவ் UPSC mostly takes questions. So for this Kanha, which is always in news, we have to know as much as possible all the information. Okay, so Kanha is somewhere over here in the Satpura range. Where is Satpura range? Satpura range is between two rivers, Narmada and Tapti. You have Narmada to the north, Tapti to the south. In between both, at the center, the Satpura range will be going. Okay, those who don't know this, when I first learned, it was very confusing for me. ஏன்னா வரிசையா இருக்கும், வித்தியாசம் இருக்கும், எல்லாமே இருக்கும், எது எங்க இருக்குன்னு மறந்து போயிடும் எனக்கு. ஸோ வாட் ஐ தாட் வாஸ், நர்மதா போது, தப்தி போது, நடுவில் சந்தில் ஒன்று போகிறதா சத்புரா போயிட்டு இருக்குன்னு ஞாபகம் வச்சிருந்தேன். ஸோ அதனால வந்து எனக்கு அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் மறக்கல. ஓகே, மேபி இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் யூ கேன் ஆல்சோ ரிமெம்பர் திஸ். இஃப் யூ நோ சத்புரா ரைட், அப்புறம் அப்படியே மேலே நர்மதா, தென் டெஃபினெட்லி யூ வில் ஹாவ் விந்தியாஸ் அண்ட் தென் ஆரவலிஸ், அப்படி அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக நின்றோம். ஸோ இஃப் யூ ஹாவ் க்ளூ ஃபார் ஒன், த ரெஸ்ட் யூ வில் கேட்ச் இட். ஓகே, யூ கேன் ட்ரை அண்ட் ரிமெம்பர். Next national park is Van Vihar National Park. Van Vihar, again it's in Madhya Pradesh. You can see it in the same map. Here Satpura you have, if you have Kanwa here, you have Van Vihar here. To the north of Vindhyas, to the north of Vindhyas you have Van Vihar. Okay, and the important information here is, it is nearby the lake called as Upper Lake or Bojtal Lake. They might ask, where, direct question it could be, this lake, where is the lake? That's all. Because Van Vihar is in news, so they could not ask Van Vihar, instead they could ask which lake is there. Okay, this Upper Lake or Upper Lake, it is there in actually in Bhopal. Okay, and it is also called as Bada Talab. It's also called as a big one. It's also called as Bada Talab, and it is a Ramsar wetland. Okay, it's a Ramsar site. And here there's a huge region called Boj wetland, and in this huge Boj wetland, this Upper Lake is a part of that wetland. Try to remember some of this data. And I hope you know this is that Barasanga. This is the state animal of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so you have since we saw about Van Vihar and also about Kanha, we saw the state animal of Madhya Pradesh also. Okay, since we saw Barasanga, a deer, we'll see another famous deer. What is the another famous deer? Yeah, this deer. பேர் கூட டான்சிங் டியர்னு பேர் கூட இருக்கும். Okay, Sangai deer, dancing deer. So where is it found? So why dancing in the sense it is not dancing, the way it walks looks like dancing it seems. So when will you be unstable? நம்ம எப்போ நடக்கிறதுக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கும்? When the ground is shaking. Okay, when the ground is not stable, when it is shaking, we can also cannot walk straight. Okay, so why the ground is shaking here for this deer? Because the ground is floating. So since it is floating, you cannot walk straight, you cannot stand straight. So that is why this dance, this deer is dancing. இப்படி நம்ம ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும். Okay, so that we don't forget this very easily. And it is called as, the real name is, if they ask dancing deer, we will have the clue, but if they ask Sangai deer, we will get caught. So remember, Sangai deer is in Manipur, and this in Manipur you have something called this floating islands called as இதுக்கு ஒரு பேர் இருக்கு. Fumdi அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு பேர் இருக்கும். PHUMDI, Fumdi. Okay, so on these Fumdis, these deer are found. And this is the only floating national park in the world. This is the only national floating. See this one, it's not actually like this. There will not be a small island and over that a deer will be still. This is just a picture. They have drawn it, just a pictorial representation. Okay, so to show that the islands are floating and over that you can see this deer. It's just a pictorial representation. Okay, and they have a name called dancing deer, Sangai deer, brown antler deer. So because you can see this brown in color, so that's why it's called as brown antler deer. And they are endemic. It's important. So when something is endemic, they specifically ask, this is endemic, it is found only here, nowhere else you can find this deer. Okay, next one, No Creek National Park. Most of us will know where is No Creek National Park, in the Garo Hills of Meghalaya. But what we will miss to learn is this one, the river Simsang is here. Okay, the river Simsang is here. And it is a biosphere reserve. We have very few biosphere reserves, and one biosphere reserve is this one. And it is located in the Garo Hills that we know. The specific peak where it is located is this Tura peak. This we have to learn. Okay, this we have to learn. Okay, next one we have Nongalium Sanctuary. So here, so why this is so important is India's first bamboo dwelling bat is found here. So bats are found on bamboo. So normally where do we find bats? In some caves, some dark places. That is where we find the bats. Here these bats are on the bamboo. Okay, so this Nongalium National Park is also in Meghalaya. Okay, we know Nok Creek. So we already know Nok Creek. Now you include Nong Hill. So Nok and Nong are almost similar, right? Very different. We know Nok Creek, we already know. Now to that you include in Meghalaya, you have one more sanctuary called as Nong Hill Sanctuary. And here you have this bat which is like golden or orange color. Okay, next one, Balpakram National Park. Balpakram National Park, which is again in Garo Hills in Meghalaya. So you in Garo Hills we know we have No Creek, and one more in the same Garo Hills we have Balpakram. Okay, see, you statement questions could be from here. It's also called as land of spirit, land of perpetual wind. Some special names are given for this Balpakram National Park. And already we know this region is a biodiversity hotspot. Here this Balpakram also falls within this biodiversity hotspot. And sometimes, since both these national parks are in the news, they could go to a question where within Meghalaya, which is to the west and which is to the east, once they have asked one such national park in Arunachal Pradesh, which is to the easternmost region, so you can see that Balpakram is to the almost to the westernmost and southernmost, southwestern part of region la Balpakram irukku. Know the regions also, because in one state, if more than one national park is there in news, they could compare between those two. Sometimes it could happen. So definitely you will know it is at the Garo Hills. Why? I'm sorry, it's to the south of Meghalaya. Why? To the south of Meghalaya, you have the Kasi, Garo, Jaintia Hills. So other vachin so south in solirla. Definitely you will know that. So what you have to know is it's to the west. That alone you have to know. And important information is it is close to border of Bangladesh. Okay, see here you have Meghalaya, immediately you have Bangladesh. Here you have no creek. Here you have no creek, and to a little more south in this region you will have this Balpakram. So it is very much closer to Meghalaya. And this might be asked, there are medicinal herbs called as dikes, okay, in this Balpakram National Park. Okay, this particular pitcher plant. So what is pitcher plant known for? It is a non-vegetarian plant. Okay, it will eat insects. Okay, அதன நான் வெஜிடேரியன் பிளான்ட் சொன்னா எல்லாரும் ஐயோ அப்படி நினைக்கிறேன். எல்லாரும் இங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மத்தியானம் பிரியாணி சாப்பிட்டு உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கிறது. இங்க வந்து பார்த்தா ஓ வாட் பேட் அப்படின்ற மாதிரியே பார்க்கிறது. அது இன்செக்ட் சாப்பிட்டா மட்டும் தப்பு, நம்ம மட்டும் பெரிய பெரிய கோழி ஆடெல்லாம் சாப்பிட வேண்டியது. ஓகே, யா. So you have a specific sanctuary for this pitcher plant, that is Bagmara pitcher plant sanctuary, and this is also in South Garo Hills, exactly South Garo Hills. அங்கேயே இருக்குது Balpakram பக்கத்திலேயே you have a specific sanctuary for this pitcher plant itself. Okay, and very much near to this in the East Jaintia Hills region you have another sanctuary, that is Narpu Wildlife Sanctuary. Is this time Meghalaya sutti news ஏன்னு தெரியல. Okay, so Narpu Wildlife Sanctuary is also in the Eastern Jaintia Hills, and this particular pitcher plant locally people called as Mimang Koksi. So this plant is the right, it is called as Mimang Koksi. Okay, it's called as a special name. They call this as a sacred plant. These people, they call this as a sacred plant. If this plant is there in Chennai also, we will also call this as a sacred plant. Why? சென்னையில் மிகப்பெரிய பிரச்சனை அதானே, என்ன உயிர் எடுத்துறதுல நம்மள இப்படி ஒரு பிளான்ட் கொசுவெல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டுருச்சுன்னு சொன்னா நம்ம சேக்ரெட்னு தானே சொல்லுவோம். நமக்கு இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பிளான்ட் சென்னையில் தான் நம்மளும் சேக்ரெட்னு சொல்லுவோம். அதனால தான் அவங்களும் சேக்ரெட்னு சொல்றாங்க போல இருக்கு. அவங்களும் கொசுவெல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டுறது போல இருக்கு. இன்செக்டிவரஸ்ல இதான் இருக்கும். ஓகே, next one, a very famous one, Silver Line project. Everyone knows. In our videos also we spoke elaborately about this. Okay, so it will be connecting around 11 to 14 districts, and people are protesting against this because it's going to cause a huge damage to the Western Ghats. Already the committee said nothing should be done in the Western Ghats. Which committee was that? Which committee? Yeah, both the committees, Gadgil committee and Kasturi Rangan committee, both these committees had told this. Okay, so Gadgil committee is about using the Western Ghats for development. What Gadgil committee said, you shouldn't touch Western Ghats. Nothing, no construction activity, no mining activity. This is what was told by Gadgil committee. Then the governments were not ready to accept the state governments, so they put another committee called as Kasturi Rangan committee, and they said some sort of little bit of development can be done. These are the difference between these two. So when I first learned this, I found it too difficult to remember what is Gadgil committee about. So நான் இங்கிலீஷ்ல படிக்காம தமிழ்ல படிச்சிட்டேன். காடு, it will kill the forest. So if you do this, it will kill the forest. This is called Kaad Kill Committee. Okay, so if you keep on doing this, the Western Ghats forest will die. That is what was Kaad Kill Committee told. Then if we get into Western Ghats, what we can mostly see, நம்மள அந்த முதுமலை பந்திபுல போனா சஃபாரி போறேன்னு உள்ள போவோம், லெப்பர்ட் பார்க்கலாம், டைகர் பார்க்கலாம், இப்படி சொல்லி கூட்டு போவாங்க. உள்ள போனா என்ன மட்டுமே இருக்கும், அங்க நிறைய மான் மட்டும் தான் தெரியும், மானை தவிர ஒருமே கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாது. So if you get into this forest, what can you see? ஆமா, அங்க போனா கஸ்தூரி மான் பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ அதனால தான் அடுத்தது வந்து கஸ்தூரி ரங்கன் கமிட்டி. Okay, so these are the two committees for Western Ghats. Okay, so that's it about mostly about this is it is in Kerala, and it is trying to connect North Kerala to South Kerala, that is Kasaragod to Thiruvananthapuram. This is all about this, and it is to the west of the Western Ghats. These are the important news here. Map question portharikkum, there's no much information here apart from the map. The rest of the political details you can watch it in the video. 1 minute video also it is there, in the environment video also it's both, it's been spoken there. You can watch it in YouTube. Okay, one more wildlife sanctuary. So that is why what I did, I first finished the world international current affairs, map wise current affairs. Then we came to India, because India most of you would have to some extent known and learned, but world current affairs that we don't touch. So that's why I took that first. Now we are going to into completely India current affairs. Once in a while we'll get some world current affairs. Sure. Okay, so this is a Ramgarh Vishdhari Wildlife Sanctuary, and it is in Rajasthan. Okay, so now why this is a news, because just in 2021, I think it's Feb 2021 Feb or something, it was made as a wildlife sanctuary. Approval was given for to be made as a wildlife sanctuary, and this is the 52nd tiger reserve and 4th tiger reserve of Rajasthan. So what does that mean? You have to learn the other tiger reserves of Rajasthan. If they are saying this is the new tiger reserve, this is going to be the 4th tiger reserve, then you have to learn the other tiger reserves of Rajasthan as also. So this wildlife sanctuary is going to act as a buffer zone. It's going to act as a buffer zone for Ranthambore National Park. So we know Ranthambore National Park is in Rajasthan. We already know this. This Ramgarh is going to function as a buffer zone for that Ranthambore. Okay. So some other protected areas in Rajasthan: Desert National Park, Koyaledev National Park. These two most of us already know. This one you have to know: Sajangarh Wildlife Sanctuary in Udaipur, and then the National Chambal Sanctuary. So National Chambal Sanctuary is particularly for what? Which animal? Gharial and this dolphins. So these two, the inland Ganges dolphins, particularly for these two, most particularly for gharials. For this we have this National Chambal Sanctuary, and it is at the tri-junction of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. It is not just in Rajasthan. It's at the tri-junction of these three places. So try to know this. And this is another new tiger reserve in India. Just in 2021 it was declared. Srivilliputtur Megamalai Tiger Reserve. And this is the 5th tiger reserve in Tamil Nadu. 51st tiger reserve of India. You saw here, either 2021 this was declared, and immediately the next 52nd was declared in Rajasthan. Okay. See here, if we are going Megamalai, most of you would have seen at least in a video somewhere YouTube la super place in Tamil Nadu. Why don't you go for a tour there? It is a very peaceful place. No many tourists are gone there, so that place is still natural. But nariya paathirundhirupinga. Inga endha area pakkom Megamalai? Theni region. Okay, now you can tell me what sort of vegetation could be there. Theni Western Ghats, Theni Western Ghats na? Definitely evergreen forest will be there. So you can see here tropical evergreen forest, semi evergreen forest, also dry deciduous forest, all are mixed here, even grassland. So many types of vegetation is found in this Srivilliputturu Megamali Tiger Reserve. Okay. Okay, now this new tiger reserve will encompass, within that we will have Megamalai Wildlife Sanctuary and Srivilliputturu Grizzled Squirrel Wildlife Sanctuary. So these were already existing, these two. Now we have a broader one called as combining the names of both as Srivilliputturu Megamalai Wildlife Sanctuary. So already what we had was this. Sorry. So already what we had was this one. One is Megamalai. 2 was Srivilliputturu. It was two wildlife sanctuaries. So now combining both, a huge one is Srivilliputturu Megamalai Tiger Reserve. Okay. Already it was just a wildlife sanctuary. Now it has become a tiger reserve. Okay. So I hope you know a wildlife sanctuary can become a national park. A national park cannot become a wildlife sanctuary. Okay. Next one, Vaigai River is in news. So it originates in the Varshanad Hills. So where is Varshanad Hills? Near to Megamalai. Very much near to Megamalai, you have this Varshanad Hills. And what you have to know is these tributaries. Mullayaru we know, always in news. So rest of the things, try to remember. Sometimes they could ask because it is there in the news. And one more thing, whenever a particular river is in news, UPSC seems to ask the famous waterfalls there. Here in this Vaigai, you have a waterfall called as Vattaparai waterfalls. Vattaparai waterfalls. It is there in Vaigai River. Okay. Next one, you have Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. Very famous one. Most of us will always know it is in the northeast and it is in Assam. Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. And why it is in news? Because of this India Rhino Vision 2020. They are trying to breed rhinos. Okay. So we tried protecting rhinos. It's not enough for us. Now we are going to the next step of breeding rhinos. Okay. I hope you know the story of rhinos. So they are being poached very badly for their that horn. Okay. So in particularly in India, they have controlled it to some extent. They have controlled. In Africa, it's still too worse, and they are having a special army force for that to check this rhino poaching. Okay. They are using air force helicopters are swiveling around to check if people are poaching rhinoceros. Okay. And they have even using this Belgian Malinois dog for this. Okay. To stop people from protecting poaching rhinos. இவ்வளோ பண்ணியும் they poach it. அவ எவ்வளோ திறமைசாலியாக இருப்பீங்க பாருங்க. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் பண்ணி முடியலன்னு சொல்லி என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, இந்த கொம்பு இருக்கிறனால தானே இதை வந்து வேட்டையாடுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு they cut off this horn. So the government itself, what they did, they cut this. It's like just like a nail or a hair for that for the rhinos. It's not going to pain for it. They cut off the horn just because for the horn they are killing this. So what these people did, they took revenge now. They thought, since you cut the horn, did you think that we are not going to kill it? Now also will get சும்மா கொண்டுட்டு போயிட்டானுங்க வந்து. ஏன்னா இப்படி நீ மூக்க வெட்டா நான் கொல்ல மாட்டேன்னு நினைச்சியா, அப்போ நான் கொல்லுவேன், இப்ப என்ன பண்ணுன்னு சொல்லி ரிவெஞ்சுக்காக கொண்டுட்டு போயிட்டானுங்க. வந்து கோவத்துல வந்து பார்த்தா உனக்கு மூக்கு இல்ல, வந்து பார்த்தோன்னே அப்ப எனக்கு காசு போச்சுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு கோவத்துல கொண்டுட்டு போயிட்டானுங்க இந்த அளவுக்கு. So it has gone to some species of rhinos, I hope you know, they have gone extinct itself. So we are trying to protect as much as possible. And now we have this one-horned rhinoceros, the huge one. We are found, it is found only in India now. Otherwise, it's not at all found. We are trying to protect it. Okay. And two rivers flowing here. Two rivers flowing here are Brahmaputra and Kalang. Brahmaputra and Kalang. Both these rivers are flowing in Pobitora, and it is called as Mini Kaziranga. This one point alone, it is easy to remember. ஏன்னா போபிட்டோராவை டோரான்னு படிக்காம டோரான்னு படிச்சிட்டோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். டோரா யாரு? ஒரு மினி கேர்ள். ஒரு ஸ்மால் குட்டி பிள்ளை. அதனால தான் இதை வந்துட்டு மினி காசிரங்கான்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்கன்னு ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். நான் இப்படி தான் ஞாபகம் வச்சிருக்கேன். ஓகே, ஸோ ஹியர் ஆஃப்டர் போபிடோரா எப்படி படிச்சிடலாம்? போபிடோரான்னு படிச்சு வச்சுக்கலாம். ஸோ தட் இஸ் வை இட் இஸ் கால்ட் as மினி காசிரங்கா. If Kaziranga is in Assam, definitely Pobitora also will be in that case Assam. So with this, simply by reading this word a little bit different, we will know in which state it is. It is called as it is called as mini Kaziranga. All this information we'll get. Okay. Yeah. Next one. Some information. One horn rhinoceros, everyone knows, and it is an, apart from a national park, it is a, sorry, sanctuary, it is also a bird area as well. Yeah. Next one, Raimona National Park. This is specifically important because it is within the Bodoland territorial region. That means always a disturbed region. This region you have a national park, that is why it becomes important. And one more reason why it becomes too important is it is a transboundary national park. Okay, even Manas, I hope it is a transboundary national park. It will be connecting with Bhutan. These rhinoceros and all, they'll go to Bhutan, and from there they'll come back. And from this, what do we know is all this nation boundary, all these are stupidities created by humans. Do you see any other animal getting visa or passport to go to a next nation? No, but we should have been like that. Actually, we created as much as differences as possible. Country, language, caste, religion, color, இதெல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டே போகலாம். இன்னும் ஸ்கூலு இன்டர் ஸ்கூல் ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்து அடிச்சு மூஞ்செல்லாம் உடச்சிட்டு கிடப்பாங்க. டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் ட்ரிபிளியா மெக்கான்னு சொல்லிட்டு மொத்தத்தில் நம்மளுக்கு சண்டை போட ஒரு காரணம் வேணும், ஏதாவது ஒரு காரணம் வேணும் நம்மளுக்கு. பட் we have to be fighting. Okay, and we say that reason is genuine. Okay, so but there so once you leave college, you don't have reason to fight because no department now. Now we'll go and fight for something else. Okay, but see these animals, they don't have department, no country, no visa, no passport, nothing. Okay, this is a transboundary national park. Raimona is a transboundary national park because it is connecting with two other sanctuaries, that is Fisfo Wildlife Sanctuary and Wangchuk National Park. Both are in Bhutan. Okay, try to remember this. And some of the tributaries of Brahmaputra which flow here are Sankosh, Saralbanga and Rekwa. Okay, these are the tributaries of Brahmaputra. Next one, Dehing National Park. Okay, so from the name we can know either it should be in Arunachal Pradesh or Assam. Okay, because Dehing sounds similar to Dihang. Dihang is the other name for Brahmaputra. Once it joins with another river, it will be called as what? Brahmaputra. What's that other river? Dibang. So these both are the tributary, and Dihang is also considered as the tributary of Brahmaputra. So if you see in the books and all, it will be given as the tributary of Brahmaputra. So which is the left and which is the right tributary here? Dihang and Dibang, which is right and which is left? So this is Brahmaputra. So so this is right, this is left now. So you have like Assam like this. So which is, yeah, okay, யாரெல்லாம் வந்து Dihang right ன்னு சொல்றீங்க? H. யாரெல்லாம் B Dibang right ன்னு சொல்றீங்க? Okay, Dibang is right. Okay, B. So why? எப்படின்னு சொன்னா மேல, so நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம், it will come and join with Dihang, then it will be called as Brahmaputra. மேல வந்து Dibangன்னு வந்து விழுகும், பொங்குன்னு வந்து விழுந்தோடனே அதுக்கப்புறம் ஏன்னா கீழே இருந்து விழ முடியாது இல்ல, so nothing can fall from down, from something can fall from up, so that's why Dibangன்னு வந்து விழுகும். அதனால இதுக்கு பேரு ரைட் பேங்க் tributary. அப்ப definitely one more is Dihang, left one. Okay, so இப்படி நான் வச்சுக்கோங்க. And try to remember, Dihang, it's not in Arunachal Pradesh, it's in Assam. ஏன்னா பேரை பார்த்து sometimes you could confuse it with Arunachal Pradesh, because Dihang will be in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so but we know once it comes to Assam, it will be Brahmaputra. Okay, so try to remember it is in Assam. So we'll go to the next one. Some important information about the Dehing National Park. Okay, very special because this is the only sanctuary in India which has 7 different species of wild cats. Okay, so many species of wild cats are here, so it is very famous. See all the types of cats. Tiger is there, leopard is there, cloud leopard, leopard cat, golden cat, jungle cat, marble cat. ஒரு பூனை ஃபேமிலி இருக்குதுங்க. Okay, all the puneys are there. So this is the only national park, I'm sorry, the sanctuary which has so many types of cat family. Okay, and one more thing, UPSC is known for asking birds, particularly birds, and defining those birds and asking where it is. Okay, this has the highest concentration of white-winged wood duck. And why it is so important? Because it is endangered. This duck is endangered, but it is found in highest concentration in this Dehing National Park. You can see the wing is white. அதனால இதுக்கு பேரு white-winged duck. Okay, and I hope you know, definitely this duck should be endangered. Why? Very much near to China, and in China duck is more famous than chicken. Chinese படங்கள்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா தெரியும், duck soup, duck fry, விதவிதமா duck சாப்பிடுவாங்க. Even here in Chennai, in Anna Nagar, you have one Chinese restaurant, right? If you go there, you can get duck fry. போய் ட்ரை பண்ணி பாருங்க. Okay, so அதனால ducks are known to consider, definitely they should be endangered. Assam, very near to China, right? They should be endangered. அதுக்குள்ள 720 ஆயிடுச்சு. ஐயோ. Okay, next one. One more thing, this golden langur, okay, which is an endemic species, and it is the mascot of Bodoland region. கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி தான் பார்த்தோம், this national park is in the Bodoland region, and it is the mascot of Bodoland region, and it is endemic to this region also. So that is why this is very important for this Dehing National Park. Next one, a very similar name, Dehing Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary. So definitely anyone will say this is in Assam, Patkai. That word Patkai will tell you it is in Assam, right? See here, it's also called as Jaipur rainforest. If a question is asked, okay, there's a particular sanctuary, wildlife sanctuary, and it is also called as Jaipur forest or Jaipur rainforest, where our mind will go definitely. நேரா ராஜஸ்தான் போகும், மூளை யோசிக்கும், ராஜஸ்தான்ல எப்படா ரெயின் ஃபாரஸ்ட் இருக்கும்னு சொல்லும், இருந்தாலும் இல்லையே ஜெய்ப்பூர்னு தெளிவா தானே இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி ராஜஸ்தான் போட நிறைய சான்ஸ் இருக்கு, பட் இட்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி இன் Assam. Okay, so you can see tropical wet evergreen forests are seen there. They're almost like Amazon forest. And this map, try to see this map as much as possible. You can see Manas, Orang, Kasiranga, Nameri, Saikava. So many national parks are being mentioned here. This map looks good for all these. Try to see this. Okay, see, like physical ave kuduthirukanga, where Garo Hills, Jaintia Hills, Kasi. This map is really good. Try to view this map later on. Okay. So some information about this Horn of Africa. This is the 4th largest peninsula in the world. And then try to see the border countries here. Using this, try to see the border countries. Here, what is the strait here in this region? Bab el Mandeb. Here you have Bab el Mandeb. I told you, right? It separates Yemen and Djibouti. Okay. Then try to know Ethiopia, the border countries of Ethiopia as well. Okay. And I in the last class gave a clue that how to remember Yemen and Oman are here. Remember? Okay. Boot கீழ எட்டி உதைச்சா ஏமேன் ஏன்டா உதைக்கிறேன்னு கேட்டா ஐயோ ஓமேன் உதைச்சிட்டான் அவனை அப்படி சொல்லி அங்கிருந்து கேட்டிருப்பான்னு. அந்த எட்டி உதைச்சது யாரு? எத்தியோப்பியா தான். ஓகே, ஸோ எத்தியோப்பியா எங்க இருக்கும்? கரெக்டா ஏமனுக்கு கீழே இருக்கும். ஓகே, the small thing separating is Djibouti. Here you have Ethiopia. So ஒருத்தனை எட்டி உதச்சா அவனுக்கு எப்படி இருக்கும், எரிச்சலா இருக்கும்ல, அந்த எரிச்சல் தான் எரித்ரியா. ஓகே, யூ ஹேவ் எரித்ரியா. எரிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கும் போது எரிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்க ஒரு இடம் எப்படி இருக்கும், சூடா இருக்கும். ஸோ அதனால சூடான். Okay, so if Sudan is there, you will definitely have South Sudan. Okay, if Sudan is there, you will definitely have South Sudan. And whenever Ethiopia is there in all this Olympics in the when Ethiopia is known for long distance runners, 1500 meters, 5000 meters, all these things, and who will be always contesting with them? Another country, Kenya. Ethiopia, it will definitely be with Ethiopia. So Ethiopia's border is Kenya. Try to remember this. Okay, இன்னொரு விஷயம், if possible, and this one, why this Somalia is very famous here, this region, try to remember this region. It's known for pirates. I hope you remember Somalia pirates. Geographically, there is a reason why these people are becoming pirates. This region will not have rainfall, very less rainfall in this region. Okay, the dipole பத்தி படிச்சிருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன், Indian monsoon effect பண்ணு சொல்லி படிச்சிருக்கோம்ல. So here you can see this region is dry, because of that India gets monsoon. Okay, so this region is a dry region. So that is why when the region is dry, so in those times the only form of economic activity is agriculture. When you don't have food, when you don't have agriculture, what is the next job, what you will do? Take the food from someone else. Then that is what we call it as robbery, piracy, all those things. Okay, so that is why these people are pirates. So the Horn of Africa is Somalia. You have the Somalian pirates. So Somalian pirates, the whole world knows, every one of us know. அந்த அதை நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சிட்டீங்கன்னு சொன்னா சோமாலியா இங்க தான் அப்படின்றத நீங்க போட்டுடலாம். ஏமன் ஓமன் தெரிஞ்சா கண்டிப்பா எத்தியோப்பியா கீழ இருக்கும்ன்றத you can easily put it there. Why India is trying to have friendship relations with Ethiopia? Because China is having naval base in Djibouti. If Ethiopia is there, definitely Djibouti should be there அப்படின்றத நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். எத்தியோப்பியா இருந்துச்சுன்னு சொன்னா கண்டிப்பா உங்களுக்கு இன்னொன்னு என்ன தெரிஞ்சிரும்னு சொன்னா Eritrea இருக்கும். Eritrea, if you know, you will know Sudan. If you know Sudan, you will know South Sudan. And there is the story will actually, and of course, if you know Ethiopia, you will know Kenya as well. So just what you have to know is, with your eyes, you have to see and get it in your brain that where is Kenya. You know, if Ethiopia is there, nearby Kenya should be there. Adu westல இருக்கா, northல இருக்கா, அது தெரியணும் உங்களுக்கு. So you should try to get it in your eyes, that's all. And the story will continue to cover all the 55 countries of Africa. Actually, we can cover it. Okay, if we find time, sometimes maybe we'll make it as a YouTube class or something. Okay, and that will help you when something is there in current affair. When you have that as a question, when you know the whole country, you can narrow it down based on that question. Okay, you can do that. Okay, and it's a small mnemonic to get the border countries: Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. Okay, maybe if you want, you can use this mnemonic, but I didn't find a relation with this word seed and the countries here. So maybe if you don't forget that seed is connected to these countries, you can use it for mnemonics. But as I always tell you, don't try to have mnemonics like some vague mnemonics. எதுக்குனே தெரியாம ஒரு mnemonic ஃபார்ம் அழகா இருக்கேன்றக்க வச்சீங்கன்னா அதை நீங்க படிக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு ஞாபகம் வேண்டிய. Always try to know the history or something which you already know about that place. Use that to connect that place. You will never forget that. Okay, because you are not creating anything new, it's already there. Next one, Denmark. So why it is in news? Because we already know Denmark is one country which has most of its energy consumption using renewable energy, particularly wind. Now they are doing something where they are building the world's first energy island. So they are building wind turbines in the sea. I hope you know, before like 2 or 3 years before, the whole world was talking about this, because wind turbines, they rotate only during there's wind, but in the sea there's always wind. Why don't we have it in the sea? We were talking about this, and now they are trying to do. They are already not trying, they have already done it. In India also it was planned, floating wind turbines, but when comparing to the cost, what we have to spend to make it and the output that we get, it's a loss actually. So that is why we stopped that plan until we get a feasible way of doing that. But now they have in there, but they are doing it in an island. Okay, and since it's in news, mostly in UPSC, when a country is in a specific, particularly in a environment news, what they ask is the bordering countries capital அந்த மாதிரி தான் கேட்பாங்க. So capital is Copenhagen, and you can see the nearby countries. We already know Finland, அப்புறம் அந்த எத்தியா லித்துவேனியா, லாத்வியா லித்துவேனியா, எஸ்டோனியா அந்த இடத்துல இருக்கும்போது பக்கத்துல டென்மார்க் இருக்கும். Why? Because these countries are known to be getting this always first rank, second rank or third rank in all possible development indexes, right? So அதை வச்சு தான் நம்ம இதை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறோம். If Finland is there, if Finland is first rank, who will be the second rank? Denmark will be the second rank. If Denmark is first rank, Finland will be the second rank. Normally this is both are neighboring countries. இதை வச்சு தான் நம்ம அந்த மேப்பை கண்ணில் வைப்போம். So for all the Baltic nations, those three, Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia, these three, and then you will have this immediately you will have, if you know these are the Baltic nations, the almost Baltic nation is Finland. If you have Finland, you will nearly definitely you will have Norway. This is how we try to remember. So you can see the borders are Denmark, Norway and Sweden. Okay, and then water borders are North Sea and Baltic Sea. So Denmark, you have North Sea and the Baltic Sea. Why? Because we remember Denmark using the Baltic countries. So definitely Baltic Sea is the border of Denmark. This is how we try to remember this. And some more information in case they ask. Okay, longest river Guden, largest lake Areso, the highest mountain there is Moleho. Because this is like a precaution. Okay, we can't see every lake, every river there, but by trying to see what UPSC does, whenever there's like an international current affair, they don't go too deep. They'll always try this highest, biggest, longest, இந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்களை தான் அதிகம் பார்ப்போம். So we have chosen all these things: longest river, largest lake, highest mountain, highest peak, ding, Skovaj, like all these things. This is what we'll try to know. Okay, maybe very rarely they could go to such deeper questions, but it's better to know. Okay, we finished this, right? Okay, next one, the Tal volcano. So again, it is one of the island of Luzon. So where is Luzon? In the southeastern region, just to the north of Philippines. It belongs to Philippines. We saw all these things. Okay? And Philippines, it is between two tectonic plates, Philippines plate and the Eurasian plate. Actually, it is among this Pacific Ring of Fire. Already it is there, but particularly it is under this Philippines plate and Eurasian plate. So you can see Luzon Strait here. So it is between Philippines and Taiwan. And the sea, if you see, it is between South China Sea and Philippines Sea. So Luzon Strait is important. Try to know. So can we extend a little more, 10 to 15 minutes alone? We'll try to go like some 10 more slides alone. Okay. So Mount Petku. So it was in news. Okay, because this is actually a volcanic mountain. Okay, this is, they say it might erupt. It was erupted actually 1,000 years before. It might erupt. That is why this is in news. Okay, and the Mount Petku, it's also called Baekdu. Petku is also called as Baekdu, and in China it is called as Changbai Mountain. It's called as a Changbai Mountain, and it is a stratovolcano. And most of the volcanic current affairs that we saw this year are stratovolcanoes. அப்ப இதுல என்ன தெரியுது, எது வந்து ஸ்ட்ராட்டோன்னு தெரியலன்னா ஸ்ட்ராட்டோன்னு போட வேண்டியதான், கண்ண மூடிட்டு என்ன பண்றதுன்னு. சரியா? And this volcano is a border between North Korea and China. You can see Mount Petku here. It is border between North Korea and China. Pangongso Lake. So நிறைய டைம் பார்த்தது, we'll go deeper information மட்டும் பார்க்கலாம். If they are asking Eastern Ladakh, Western Tibet. So because this is too much in news, maybe they'll ask a little more deeper question, which region exactly கேட்கலாம். So Eastern Ladakh and Western Tibet. Endoric Lake, I hope you know this already. Endoric Lake na இன்னொரு Endoric Lake என்ன பார்த்தோம், நம்ம Caspian Sea பார்த்தோம், RLC லாம் பார்த்தோம். என்னன்னு சொன்னா it doesn't reach any ocean. It will be surrounded by land, and this is the world's highest saltwater lake. Okay, try to remember this. It is the world's highest saltwater lake. And LAC passes through this, and it is on the path of Chusul Valley. All these are like ரொம்ப famous தெரிஞ்ச information உங்களுக்கு, but try to revise it. And one another national park, the Great Indian Bustard, which is critically endangered. People are trying their every possible way to save this, but it's very difficult to save. Because why it is very difficult to save them? Those electrical lines which pass, these are known to fly low. So when they fly low, these are very huge birds, very heavy birds. When they fly very low, they get caught in this electrical lines and they die. So it's very difficult to protect them. And in this desert national park, if you see, it's almost like a zoo. They are trying to breed it in the park itself. They're trying to breed it and then let it out. And it's almost going towards extinction. A Great Indian Bustard is almost going towards extinction. And Desert National Park, the largest national park in India. Specific information. This is the largest national park in India. Okay, so see the problem here. We are striving for green energy, and these projects are endangering the Great Indian Bustard. So இப்படி போனா அப்படி இருக்குது, அந்த பக்கம் போனா இப்படி இருக்குது, எந்த பக்கம் தான் போறது? Very difficult. And it is in news. This Desert National Park is in particularly news because fossils of dinosaurs have been found here. So that is why it is in news. Maybe sometimes they could ask a statement of the recently fossils of dinosaurs were found. அப்படின்னு கூட sometimes கேட்றலாம். Okay, so try to know it. So why it's in news? Because dinosaurs were, fossils were found. So since that is their news, try to know the other national parks in Rajasthan. Okay, Mukuntra Hills National Park, Koledo, we already saw this. Ranthambore, Sariska. Probably most of you would know this list, but it's good to revise. Next one, the Rhine River. So where is Rhine River? Any idea? Germany. Rhine River is very famous in Germany because that is the river which helped in the industrialization of Germany during the World Wars and all. This was an important reason for the industrialization of Germany. Okay, and it passes through 6 countries. Really important. This one is really important. Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Austria, Germany, France, Netherlands. It passes through 6 countries actually. Nambalukku Germany, we know it for sure. Apart from this, it passes through these countries as well. Because the one country that we could miss is France. The one country that we could miss is France, because we know the direction of Rhine, north-south river. Okay, நம்மளுக்கு எப்படி சிக்கிம்ல டீஸ்டா ஓடுதோ அந்த மாதிரி, this is a north-south river that we will know. So probably having the map in mind, we will guess the other countries. Definitely it will pass through Austria, because we always know to the south of Germany you have Austria. Why? How do we know this? நம்ம வேர்ல்ட் ஹிஸ்டரி படிக்கும் போது காலங்காலமா படிச்சுட்டு இருப்போம். How Germany was like to the north it was Prussia, to the south you had Austria Hungary. When this who's that Iron Man of Germany, பேர் என்னது? Bismarck. Yeah, when Bismarck wanted to form Germany as a nation, he found that it's too difficult to form it as a nation because two huge powers are there. North it is Prussia, south it is Austria Hungary. So he tried and somehow formed the first at the north, then he tried to catch the south. So definitely Germany கீழ கண்டிப்பா ஆஸ்ட்ரியா இருக்கும். We all know this. By knowing the story and knowing the map itself, we'll try to fill this region. But definitely what will we think? France is to the west of Germany. How will Rhine go through France? Light touch பண்ணிட்டு வந்துருது இந்த இடத்துல. So that is why France is also there, and of course Netherlands is also there. Okay, try to know all these region, and then at last it comes up to Switzerland. It comes up to Switzerland. So many countries are there. Try to know this because it starts from the Alps and ends in the North Sea. So that is how it finishes. Okay. Next is Matu Island. It is in the Kuril Islands. Because the same problem between Russia and Japan, the same issue is going on still, and that is why you have this particular island where Russia deployed its army there. So it is there in the news. So what we have to know is, where is this island? In the Sea of Okhotsk. Okay. And two ocean currents will be flowing here. What are they? Kuroshio, Oyashio, which is from south and which is from poles. Which is from equator, which is from poles. Kuroshio, Oyashio, rendu irukla. Oyashio will be coming from the poles. Kuroshio will be going from the equator. ஏன்னா கீழ இருந்து போறதுனால குரோஷியோ. Okay, உயரத்துல இருந்து வரதுனால ஒயஷியோ. அவ்வளவுதான். So it's there in the Sea of Okhotsk, and it falls in the Ring of Fire as well. And it is an uninhabited island. It is a volcanic island, and these could be statement question, because this is directly in the current affair. Russia has deployed its army there, so definitely it will be there in the question probably. So it is part of Ring of Fire. It's there in the Sea of Okhotsk island. It is an uninhabited island as well. So try to know all these. Because it is located between Kamchatka. This is always in news. In newspaper படிச்சிருப்பீங்க எங்கயாவது Kamchatkaன்ற word. Okay, it's there between Kamchatka, and these are all, you can just, not very important. Okay, some important information you can see it in the slides later if you want. Okay, we'll finish it here. Okay, 7:40. It's not important that I keep giving information. You should be able to store it, right? And it will become waste. Like whatever I gave also, you'll start to forget then. When you can get the PDF and for revision if you want, and you can use the PDF. Okay, thank you, bye bye.